Sounds good.
Wait for the introduction. It says I'm live. Am I live?
You are.
Am I?
Yes.
Can you see me live?
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. Well,
oh, wait.
I don't see any people, man. And earlier when I was testing this, like 2 people showed up and was chatting. Wow, it says 0 people. Well,
okay. Nope, it is not live. You're right. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Ah. In fact, somebody got a hold of me just a little bit ago on Facebook. Live show tonight? Yeah, 6 o'clock. All right, I'm there. Well, people have not made it. Figure that out. Well, anyway, regardless, because it appears that no people are here. So the way I'm going to put it is, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I have a very special guest of the one channel that I do watch concerning the Delphi and other cases, Incognito Society. Incognito Society, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. Could you explain a little bit about your channel and what it concerns, please?
Absolutely. My channel is based basically on missing and murdered in Indiana cases. That started this for me was the Delphi case and the Denise Flum case, and then I've just kind of taken it from there. I've done some videos on Lauren Spear, Trisha Reitler, I think is how you say her name. Yeah. And then most recently, Anne Han Meyer.
Yeah, you know, I spent some time looking into that case last night. I want to kind of narrow that down. I mean, I think I know where approximately her car was, but for her to be found 7 miles northeast of Martinsville, I thought kind of peculiar.
Very.
You know?
And I don't understand why the police won't release any records after 42 years.
Yeah, you know, and it was something that I learned on your channel that they had Steve and Judy.
Yes.
Well, now when I seen that, I remembered, man, because I was little when they executed him, and it was right about the same time as they executed Spinkalink, probably same year.
Really?
And I remembered that name, you know, and I thought, man, I thought that they executed him. Went and looked it up, and they killed him in 1981. You know, and I was, and that was like a year after his conviction. I was like, man, Indiana didn't mess around back then.
No, they certainly didn't. Now, her friend that just started, like kind of like a campaign, Facebook, you know, Twitter, Instagram, who killed Anne, they don't believe that it was Steve and Judy.
Go on.
They think the police botched the case or are hiding something, and they just kind of swept it under the rug, I guess you could say, and just said, oh, Steve and Judy did it, and just kind of closed the case. And so they were kind of reopening it, trying to get some talk about it and maybe some pressure on the police to release those records.
You know, I'm with you, because I think that if the evidence shows that he was in jail at the time, he couldn't have done it. And it does seem like they're trying to give reason, like, yeah, he did it, but he's dead now. You see where I'm at? It's like one of those, just be quiet, it's done.
Exactly.
You know, and send them on their way. And I think that much in the same manner as what's being done with the Flum family, the Flum family, you know, down in Connorsville.
Right. Exactly right. That was a big one for me. I didn't know anything about the Anne Han Meyer case because that happened when I was about a year old. So, of course, nobody's going to talk to me about that case. But when the Denise Flum case came about when I was 9, then people started talking about the Anne Han Meyer case. And so these are cases that has been going on all my life. Nobody arrested, no closure. And I just hate it. And that's really how I kind of started my channel, especially with the Delphi case and no closure there. And I'm like, I have a lot of opinions. I don't know if anybody else will want to hear them, but I'm going to start my YouTube channel.
You know what? That's basically how I did it.
Exactly.
Hey, man, maybe nobody gives a shit, but guess what? I'm doing it anyway.
That's right.
You know, go ahead.
No, and that's why I kind of keep Incognito Society and my face off of YouTube, just because there's so many trolls and and things like that that I haven't really come around to putting my face out there yet.
Well, you look very good as a bunny.
Well, thank you.
I'm the cat and the bunny. This is where we're at here. Speaking of Anne, I did have a thought last night that might maybe help in that case, because there are missing pieces of evidence that can never be gathered. Would you not agree?
Yes. Yeah.
But the autopsy showed that she was raped.
Yep. They should do DNA.
What? Yeah, exactly. What would stop them from exhuming her body, getting DNA, and then tracing that through the CODIS system? That might be their best way to go.
I agree. And I believe, and I could be wrong, so I can't say this for 100%, that there is some sort of evidence that they have still 42 years later that they could test DNA. And I think I just heard that on a podcast from whoever her friend was that started this Who Killed Anne. And anybody that wants to look up that case or has a tip or anything, you can go to Facebook, Who Killed Anne, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. It's out there. And whokilledanne@gmail.com.
Yeah, that when I was looking at it, I mean, because there are, I hate saying things because I never feel that I phrase them correctly. But if you have an equation where you're looking at a case, well, all the numbers are missing. You have to fill in the numbers. You see where I'm at? You have to fill in a timeline of the events so that you understand how the case unfolded. At that time, then when you're looking for a person of interest, you got to find the person that was available at that time, that and so forth, to actually end the equation. Well, with hers, all we know is her car was found, 2 miles north of Martinsville, and her body was found 7 miles northeast of Martinsville in a cornfield. Right. Well, that leaves very little speculation as to who may have done that, because we don't have anything else.
Exactly.
I can talk about the case, but I can't really give anything as to who did it. But the thing is if it helps bring, light to that case, so much the better, because maybe somebody could. But looking 40 some years past, I
know. And unless they have something in that police record that they're wanting to release, then it's kind of a dead end. But I almost positive that they said that there's something that they can test for DNA in that case that they have. Police won't release it to be done.
They may have saved back a sample, but it
1977.
Why? Because at that time they wasn't really regarding anything DNA wise. But if they did save a sample back, that's outstanding.
Or maybe clothes or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if anything was touched where they could get touch DNA, anything like that, anything that could bring a suspect, to the forefront.
Absolutely. At least rule out Steve and Judy as they're talking that he was in jail. That would be the first start.
I did a My Case search on him last night to see how far back I could go. And I don't think that My Case goes back much before 2000. It might go into the late 90s, but that's it. It's like older cases, they just don't touch, they ain't got the data there. Right.
So you have to go on news articles and things like that. I know her dad was never in her life, and then her mom has already passed away. So friends have kind of taken on the case, and they just don't feel that it's justified to say, oh, Steve and Judy did it. I kind of agree.
Yeah, not if he didn't.
If he was in jail, it kind of tells me right there. But why the police is being so weird about it, I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't either. And look, it was kind of like on the video I did on Denise Flum. Flum. It was, I don't know. It just seemed to me that law enforcement knew everything that I was saying probably within a week. Everything. Right. Now, not the person of interest, because he wouldn't have been a person of interest at that time. But now looking back at it, they could specifically say, yeah, This fits his MO entirely. This is how he operated. There was a Civil War reenactment. He did troll this area. This fits a two-person case that his brother would have been involved. You know, they could look at all of that, deduce exactly what I did, and go talk to him. Have they? Probably not. If they did, he'd go, I never heard of it. Right. Because he knows they have no way to nail him. There is no body. There is no DNA. No one that saw him. No one that saw the vehicle. He's free and clear.
Yeah, I agree. The way it's laid out, he would be a number one suspect. But everything is so locally presumed that it was done by somebody she knew that they didn't even go down that road. And Trisha Rittler, Larry Hall confessed to her murder.
Yeah, I had heard that.
And she looks so much like Denise Flum. When you look at her pictures, I'm like, oh.
I agree. And you know what? I think that there was a typical type girl that he was looking for. Dark hair, dark eyes, college age.
Right.
You know, and again, it fits his methodology, profile, everything.
Yeah. And he was, when he confessed, he still hasn't been held accountable for Trisha Rittler's.
He's never been convicted of a murder.
Nope. Kidnapping
And crossing state lines, in which case he murdered the girl, but they didn't even get him for murder. They got him life without parole for kidnapping and crossing state lines. What the hell?
Right.
You know, bullshit, man.
Oh, my word. Yeah, it's crazy. I know I saw, hey, Lily White, thank you for putting up my YouTube channel link. Appreciate that.
Lily White is awesome. Lily White does good. As does Alaska Blue. She isn't here, but she may be. She may show up.
All right. Somebody said, I guess we're not talking about Delphi tonight. Oh yeah, we'll be talking about Delphi.
No. We're going to talk Delphi.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Hey, hang on a minute, because everybody's like, "Where's Greeno? Did Greeno say he was going to be here?" I don't remember ever putting in the thing that Anthony Greeno was going to be my special guest.
I'm sorry, I'm not as cute as Greeno, I guess, so it's all right though.
Well, I would have to disagree. I must disagree there, because I mean, you know, having the male, you know, not really going around thinking men are attractive. Okay, hey, Randy Gravitt's going to be Greeno tonight. Hey, Randy, you can call in and be Greeno. He's identifying.
There you go. Hi, Randy Gravitt.
A pleasure having you here, Randy.
Yes, it is. I've never ran a live show before, so if you guys have questions, just pop them up there.
Yes, but, you know, I mean, here was my thoughts, because I know that you are very useful with the information, because you have looked up and researched many a case, and I just wanted you to speak on that. Hey, when you watch me when I'm live solo, you know what I'm doing? I'm sitting here ranting and raving, discussing things I'd already discussed, just repeating myself. This is your first shot right here, live. Give it to him.
Nothing like putting me on the spot. I feel like a failure already.
Oh, please.
Well, if you guys want to talk Delphi, we can talk Delphi.
Well, you know what? For the sake of the audience here, you know what? Why don't you touch upon Delphi?
Okay. I'll just kind of start how I even got started on the case, which from day one when they went missing, and it was an Amber Alert that came over the phones. Of course, I didn't know who they were, obviously, but my instant thought were these were just two runaways right off the bat. Didn't think any more about it. The next day when it was broadcast all over Indiana Channel News that they were found dead, it was like, what? I mean, yeah, things happen. Yeah, we're talking about murdered cases tonight or missing cases tonight, but it was just like, what? Two young teenage girls. And I mean, it instantly, just like everybody else, it grabbed my attention. And then just followed this case. And it wasn't long until I found Anthony Greeno and Michael Katt's channels and just watching what they're doing and following the case, and they were better than the news. So,
Man,
you know,
busting.
I'm just saying. So,
You know
typical.
what? Lynn wants to know, was there an Amber Alert when they came up missing?
Yes.
You know what? Here, let me post her thing up there so you can see it.
Yes, there was. That's how I was. That was the instant thing that came across was an Amber Alert, and it was on Channel 6 too. They had it like posted up on was it Channel 6? Maybe Channel 13. Had it in the little corner as they were doing other news, Amber Alert. So I remember that specifically. And the events that unfolded that week, I mean, just grabbed everybody. I think that's why we're all still just, I mean, a loss for words, kind of like I am right now, as to why we're almost at 3 years. This is a case that has every piece of evidence that you could only hope for in a case.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's fact.
And no arrest. And we're all just sitting here just waiting.
You say no arrest, but
Well, let's go down that road.
well, yeah. You know what? I did want to point this out for you real quick so that you can cover that, because Lynn had said, thought you needed a car. Well, at that time, they didn't really know. I mean, I'm not answering for you, but I mean, they didn't know why or how that they had become abducted.
Right.
You see, so, there was no reason to believe that a car was not used.
And I didn't realize that, I guess, that there needed to be a car. I just thought if two people, or if a child was missing. Uh-oh, I lost you, Michael.
Do what?
I lost your face.
How?
I don't know, but you're not there.
Can
you hear me? I'm not. You're not. I still see Lynn's comment, and I still see me.
Well, I don't know how I was lost. I'm still there on my end. Can everybody else see me? I went to prison in 1994, I do believe. That was the year he was sentenced. Can you see me now?
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me take myself out and re. Now?
Yes.
Okay.
There you are.
Well, there it was.
Can't do this without your face, okay?
We're doing it without your face. You're still the bunny.
True. Oh, gosh. Where was I? I don't even know what we were saying.
Well, on the Delphi murder case, when it occurred, and this is what I thought was weird, because, I mean, I only live so many miles from Delphi. Now, my friends that live down here, and I went to their house at 10:30 every night when they lived here. They lived here for 7 years. They was living here at that time. So I went down there at 10:30. But now this is on the 14th, the day after, all right? Well, I came home that night at approximately 11:30, and I clicked on Fox News online. And that was the main story. 2 girls that were missing found dead in Delphi, and and I'm all like, wait, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Oh my God. Okay. So then I checked into it, and that's when it came to my attention. But the thing is like, it was Amber Alert. It was on the news. They're 24/7 with the television. They didn't even hear about it until I walked down there at 11:30 something and told them, because the one girl's name was Liberty, and given her age, was identical to the age of their daughter. And she had a friend, Liberty, that was over here. And I thought, I better go check and see if that's her or not.
Sure.
And that was my reason I went down and asked him, but it was not, thankfully.
Yeah. Ugh.
Carolyn?
That's crazy. Ironic, too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, there's a couple comments. Do you think it's TB? And one says, who is your POI? Okay, here we go.
You know what? Here, let me help you here.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, I'm not betting the farm on anything, all right? But the best, in my opinion, okay, the best suspect that we have right now is TB. Based on everything that we know so far, we know he's a murderer. We know that, yeah, when we were talking about earlier that there's been no arrest, that's when Michael said, well, we don't know necessarily that we do have somebody that's been arrested, but for a different case. But, oh, and ironically, today is 1 year since the Catholic supply store killing.
Is today the 19th?
Yes.
Oh, crap. You know what? That totally skipped me. And I swear to you, earlier today, I was looking over stuff to put dates to it and actually went and looked the date of the Catholic supply store up and the date of his arrest, which was 2 days later.
Right. Ooh. Yeah, that was crazy. Whether he is a part of Delphi or not, I believe he's a serial killer, and it's just a matter of time before it all unfolds. But if it's not TB, I could probably tell you what I don't believe versus what I do believe. But if it's not him, I don't believe it's somebody local to Delphi. I do not. I think it's too small of a town for them not to have said something like the person's name on the audio of the video that Libby took. People want to say it was a family member. Okay. They would have said the name. They would have said, hey, there's grandpa. Hey, there's dad. Hey, there's cousin so-and-so. Yeah. At some point, they would have said that. And they wouldn't have been videoing their own family member.
Exactly. And you know what? I have brought that up since day one. Anytime somebody mentions family, I'm like, why would they turn it on video recorded? I mean, why would they feel that this family member was a threat?
Exactly.
You see what
absolutely. And even if it wasn't, some people say, well, it was someone prominent in the community. They would have said, hey, isn't that the pastor from so-and-so? Isn't that the gas station guy? Because that town is so small, and I come from a little small town too, but maybe just a few more people. And my thoughts are that these girls, one or the other, would have known someone local to Delphi coming at them.
Yeah.
And the name would have been mentioned, or isn't that so-and-so? And law enforcement would have their person. So, yeah.
I agree with you. And normally at this time, I point out that Carroll County has a population. This is man, woman, and child. The whole population of Carroll County is 20,000 people. Mm-hmm. 46,000 people have been tipped in. Now, to say that it's somebody 18 to 40 that lives in or around Delphi, I'm like, please, you can't ask me to be that stupid. There ain't no way. No way I'm going to believe that. Right. I know better. In fact, I knew he drove once I found his route. When I found the route to his brother's house, I'm like, that dude drove. He drove, and now I got him. Yeah. And then everything else unfolded thereafter, because every little checklist I made off the criteria, it fit. It fit. It fit. It fit. Now, look, man, I'm not the judge, jury, and executioner, but what I can do is relay the information that I find to the people.
Right. I totally agree. Every time I think of a suspect, I walk through a pattern of, well, I talk to my daughter about this case. She hears me do videos. She hears me, and she's in the other room right now. And just her take on the situation, I'm like, I was floored, because I'm pretty much a helicopter mom. So I always think, well, what would you have done? What would it have taken for you to turn on your video? She told me I wouldn't have turned on my video if it was my uncle or my dad or someone I knew. It would have to been somebody that was being weird to us to get me to turn on the video. And I'm like, exactly. What was I going to say before that? I lost my train of thought already. But
down. You know what you should have did is you should have took a Klonopin like I did.
You'd be all chill. Darn it.
See, look at me. I'm calm.
Totally calm. This is where I get off on my bunny trails. That's why I have my bunny icon. The police even talked about DN, the very first suspect that we we thought maybe that was him. You know, how
Yeah.
they went out to Colorado. But they even brought him up in the presser. Somebody asked a question. It may have been you or somebody you were with that said, "What about him?" And they actually spoke on him and said, "Well, we went out to Colorado and we had a conversation." Whether they did or they didn't.
Liar. That was my words right there. He's lying.
Yeah. But they will not discuss TB
No, they
anymore
won't.
at
And
all.
they will not allow me into a second-year press conference because they already knew. They knew what I was going to say.
That was dropped like a hot potato real fast, which makes me go, okay, you won't even say anything. Was it you that called them and asked about him and had him on record? And it
Yeah.
was Kim Riley that said, who? Who?
Are you Thomas Bruce? Yeah. You know what? That was hysterical. But I do want to point out that in that video, he was having a hard time hearing me. But it got to a point where, I mean, he could make out a word when I said it and anything else I was saying, but there was those stumbling points like, what? Huh? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak? Okay, that was Thomas, right? Is it Thomas? You're saying, you know, I'm all like, come on, man. I know better than that. I thought he was playing a little
Coy.
wall on it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think that he wanted to discuss him.
Exactly.
There's Barb. Look at Barb.
Man, all these super chats coming in. That's awesome. Yes, please donate to Michael's channel, please. He's awesome.
It's not like that. You know what? I just enjoy that people do it. It shows that they enjoy my channel, and that makes me happy. It does.
I know you're humble, so I'll say it. Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Go ahead, knock it out of the park for me.
Hey, I've donated to your channel.
But seriously, Barb, I do appreciate that very, very much.
Wow, Barb, thanks. That's awesome.
So back to what you was alluding to.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I think TB is our only suspect to look at right now. By now, we would know if it was Paul Etter.
Yeah,
obviously, and you know
Charles Eldridge. We wouldn't know.
Yeah, he's a creep.
His ass would have been hit with double murder charges ever ago.
Exactly.
Because in Carroll County Jail, nothing would have stopped them from talking to him if they had a clue.
Right. And he's a creep, but he's not a murderer. And what do we know already about the suspect that they already called up to Delphi? It was broadcasted that they did so.
That's when I caught wind of it. Right there. At that moment.
Yep. And laid it all out for him. You know, I'm sure they know a lot more than we do. And then it was dropped and never to be spoken of again.
Well, yes and no. Allow me to go forward here for just one quick moment.
Please.
When they called, and this is my thoughts, and I'm sure that I've told you in the past before, but so everybody knows, when they called Carroll County, it was right after his arrest. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And my thought was, how would they have known? How would they have known anything concerning this guy and Delphi? Yeah, the guy might have been dressed in similar clothes, but that don't mean anything. A lot of people wear a blue jacket and a hat like that.
Right.
No big deal. But they wrote and they said, this guy committed first-degree murder. He was dressed like Bridge Guy. He looks like your sketch. And he has never been arrested, so he doesn't have DNA and fingerprints in the database. Now, when they did that, they sent photos along to Sheriff Leslie. This is what he looks like. Sheriff Leslie took those photos, took them to the two people that seen the suspect that day. Is this the guy you seen? It is? It is? Okay, fantastic. Now, at that time, he knew that they had their guy down there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But in an interview that he did on YouTube, it can be found, it's on there somewhere, he stated that they sent their suspect DNA off from Carroll County to FBI Quantico headquarters prior to Christmas in 2018. That's less than, or right at about 1 month after his arrest. Once they could get it back, get it set up in Dakotas, they sent their DNA there. Now, that was the last we heard of it. Now, since that they had sent that off, I already know that they came back and they said, yeah, it's a match, dude. Not only that, but I feel that the reason that they contacted him from St. Louis is because his fingerprints came back as the unknowns from Delphi. That's what tipped them off. That's why the FBI was there. That's why they got his DNA. That's why they sent their DNA off. Now, I'm going to ask you, if you had showed those photos to the two people that seen him and they're like, yeah, no, that ain't the dude. They don't even look like him at all. That's not the same guy. Now, what would have happened then? Would they have sent their DNA off? They would have said, no, that ain't our dude. Now, they could have just to clarify, but the point is I think it would have went in a different direction.
Right. And, 4 months later, they did with that second year presser.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the second year presser at all.
Again, this isn't my show. This show's about you. But, I thought that the whole presser was to end the investigation because they gave out fake news. It was false news that they did have that they thought at one time was real news, like that he was from Delphi or around Delphi. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what they handed out. We now feel he was from Delphi, lived in Delphi, or worked in the Delphi area. Then they hand out a young thing, 18 to 40. And I'm like, bullshit. And I was pissed, man, when I was watching that. I'm like, bullshit. They know he's like older than 18 to 40. Mm-hmm. And then they gave a sketch that was generic, barely looked like the first. The guy had no hat on. The two people that seen him only seen him with a hat on. How did they get him without a hat on? I mean, how would they know what his hair looks like? Exactly. That's when I called bullshit. And I was pissed. I was very pissed about that.
Well, with good reason. I think everybody's pissed. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And they didn't want anybody to talk about it either. Oh, no, can't answer any questions for 2 weeks, month, something ridiculous like that. And they're still not answering questions.
Well, that was to the family, though.
Oh, yes, you're right.
I mean, when they stated that, they said to leave the family alone, at least give it a couple of weeks till you talk to them and so on. But like law enforcement, the reason they didn't have no questions, they knew I'd probably be there.
Yeah.
And the thing is like I didn't go because I wanted to watch it live so I could get directly up here as soon as it ended and make a live video. I was first on that.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that, what the heck was I going to say?
I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Losing train of thought here. Oh, gosh. I hate when I do that. Oh, what I was going to say was not only, yes, it was about the family not being bothered for 2 weeks, but even the news didn't interview Doug Carter until that 2-week time frame was up. There was no interviews done by any police officers at that time. Weird.
Wish I had known that. I would have been calling law enforcement officers.
I know. I've thought about calling them.
I have it in for law enforcement. Always have.
You have it in for them? Is that what you said?
I do, man. Look, I was an MP. I was on the side of the law. I was going to be a lawyer. I mean, this was my whole thing in life, man. And when I got out after my time was up in the Army, I'm like, okay, you know what I'm not going to do? Be an MP for 20-some years. I got bigger dreams. I'm getting out. I'm going to college, going to pursue legal, and all this and that. And then what happened, I got to Vegas, became an alcoholic, became a traveling alcoholic for 12 years, dismissed life, ruined my entire everything at that point. So, yeah, I never did fulfill my dreams, but I'm doing okay now.
Hey, at least you came out of it. Yeah, good for you, because you got out of that. That's awesome.
There was hold on, because now I got to get my mind thinking. Because there was another case that you wanted to discuss, unless you wanted to continue talking about Delphi.
Oh no, whatever everybody wants. Somebody radar put, not to be controversial, but some have said that Livery was recording Abby and happened to catch BG in the background. Well, that's possible.
Well, I don't believe that.
I mean, anything's possible.
Well, yeah, but here's kind of my thick of it is that if she was filming Abby would have been in it. You see, she had it turned away from where Abby was.
That's true.
And I really do feel that there was words between them. Maybe while coming in, maybe right there beforehand, where she felt there was a threat. Because think about it. If the guy's walking across the bridge and you feel that he's a threat, you got 6 minutes to call law enforcement.
Right.
Minimally 6 minutes. Well, they didn't call law enforcement. She put that on video record to capture the guy's face
Hmm.
and his voice. And that is what secured the video and the audio.
And again, reiterating that they had to be in fear, or Libby had a heads up something wasn't right. When talking with my daughter about that specific thing, she said, "Mom, I wouldn't have even thought to call you in that moment, let alone 911, because you don't think something like that's getting ready to happen. You just don't." And I'm like, have I not preached to you enough about strangers and stuff like that? And I'm like floored with the answers that she had, because she would have done exactly what Libby and Abby did.
1 second.
Sure.
Yeah, I gotta. Oh crap! Hide. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I got a friend that got a hold of me and says, "Man, are you going to be live tonight?" He's like, "You know what? Why don't you check my channel and find out?" That's how other people do it. And I say I'm going to be live at 6 p.m. Ta-da!
And for the first time, I actually got a notification on my phone for the first time, and I can't tell you when that you were live.
Yeah,
That's a miracle.
yeah, this time too. Think about it. It shows the importance. So, let me see. On Delphi, I think that there was some questions that I had, but now, of course, I'm sitting here trying to remember them, and
Oh, me too. I even wrote some stuff down, and I can't even read my own handwriting in the world.
You know what? On this computer, I probably have in an area between 20 and 30 files that I have wrote out concerning every single aspect of this crime.
Wow.
It's long,
Oh my God.
very enthused, not missing a point of interest. I mean, everything was covered. But to sit here and just go through it, it's like, well, see, this occurred, that again. But man, I've repeated it so many times, I dream about it.
Exactly. I mean, just like everybody else, I think we all have had probably nightmares about this case. We can't all wait until that day comes when we finally see who it is.
1 year away.
1 year.
1 year away.
Well, nothing else has transpired since 422. I'll tell you that.
And I can tell you right now, well, see, 1 year away, there will be nobody else that's brought up as a person of interest within this case unless they make somebody to look like a person of interest to draw people's attention to another person for a time. And then they'll be like, okay, no, he's got an alibi, whoa, 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 blah, blah, blah. But just to make it look like they're working it. Yeah. Because what else do they got to do? They know they got a year to kill. They know that. They can't shit until that year is up. Nothing.
Yeah, and like we all know, we don't understand why they changed the sketches. That's never happened that I know of in any other case.
No, and in fact, man, I mean, I got issues with that. I really do. You got two people that seen him. Now, flannel shirt guy just seen him walking by as they walk by each other. I'm sure. I mean, they didn't sit and chat. The guy was trying to get out. He just got a glimpse of him. Now, the lady spoke to him for a minute or two. She was the main one that would have gave the details for this sketch. Now, to come out with the second sketch and then to say 18 to 40, well, I know damn well he don't look 18. Somebody could mistake him for 40, maybe, but 18 to 40, I thought, yeah, no. Plus, didn't seem without the hat on. Where in the hell did that come from? Exactly. I thought they gave a very generic sketch, somebody that fit the model of the direction that they was pointing to at the thing. It ended their investigation because now if anybody calls in, it's not investigatable.
Right.
And I think that that's all that it amounted to at the briefing. That's why they wasn't taking no questions. That's why they wasn't going. All they was doing is giving out old information. And here's what we know.
Right. And they really didn't have any loss by putting out a second sketch. I mean, it kind of throws everybody a bone.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Well, they also gave the video.
Yes, finally.
But the video, and I think that the reason that they released the video is because, man, they talked to everybody he knew. They talked to his neighbors from where he lived at. That's what the lady told me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, I'll tell you the same thing I told the FBI. I can't tell whether that's him. Now, after they went through everybody and everybody's like, yeah, man, I can't tell it's pixelated. You can't see the guy. Then they're like, okay, cool. Guess what? We'll release it. Because now it ain't going to affect what people think about him, because we know his best friends and family can't say it's him.
Right.
You see where I'm at?
Absolutely.
It's like they didn't give out anything that would have been a smoking gun on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But in fact, they changed it up, man, quite a bit with the second sketch.
Yeah. And, I thought when Ives came back on the scene, I mean, we were all pumped that something was going to be transpiring right after that 422 presser. 3 months at the most, and there would be an arrest. I kind of got off the TB train for a while and was just kind of holding on to some sort of hope that we were, that we were actually being led down the right path. And yet here we are, still nothing. So the best suspect that we have at this time to look at is TB.
I agree. But I have for a year now.
Yes, I know.
You know what? I was looking through my older videos and I came with, oh, God, what was it? I think it was July the 13th. I think it was. It may have been December the 13th. But in that video, I was talking about, and that was the video where I made that comment. I said, look, man, I got the goods on this guy in about every line of criteria. The thing is I can't place why he would be in Delphi. What would bring him to Delphi? For what reason would he be here? Mm-hmm. Until I found his brother. And then once I put that into Google directions, bam, the Hoosier Heartland route, which goes right by Monon High Bridge Trail. How many times did he take in that route? Probably every single time. Whenever he'd go to his family's house in Michigan or his brother's, right up to Hoosier Heartland. Did he know about that trail? It's a midway point. Why wouldn't he? That's probably where he stopped. That's how he knew the trail. Mm-hmm. I mean, it fits the equation. It fits the criteria. It fits the circumstances. It's good theory.
Absolutely. Just like with thinking that it wasn't somebody within Delphi, it had to be somebody that knew and set out to go to that specific area that day to commit something. Whether it's him or not, I don't believe it's somebody within the Delphi community. And he fits. He fits all the criteria. And until law enforcement comes out with something else, he is the best POI. Agree or disagree?
On that, he had lost 2 long-held jobs 1 month prior to each case. 1 month before Evansdale, he lost the Schnucks job where he was the manager of the grocery store. He lost that. 1 month later, Evansdale happens. Mm-hmm. Now, we go 5 years later, he files bankruptcy on January 11th, resigns from his job. 1 month later, Delphi, still not working. He had the middle of the day. I mean, you see where I'm at?
Absolutely.
And it made me think, well, if he did have a dinner date with his wife on the night prior to, okay, now 12 Spot, who now I believe comes here just to be a yahoo. I just booted his ass. He's like, oh, the dinner date was for 4 o'clock. A dinner date at 4 o'clock sounds more like a lunch. Look, man, a person can bring something to me all that they want. All that they want, man, if they got evidence for it. Mm-hmm. But the point is, a dinner date, I look at that as later. If he left here at 3 o'clock, he could have been home by 6. Because going back into Central Time would lose 1 hour off of his watch. Would have got it home at 6 if he was traveling quickly, and God knows he did.
Exactly. Yep. Because it would have been 5 o'clock there, or 5 o'clock here if it was 4 o'clock there for that dinner date. So, and I really think that she's probably in denial. I'm not calling her a liar. I'm just saying sometimes how can you remember 3 years ago and exact times? I don't.
Exactly.
4 o'clock seems a little weird.
If I go back 2 years ago, I'm like, oh shit, man. What, that year?
Yeah.
What the hell was I doing? I don't know. Man, I might not even,
Yeah,
God,
so
that might not have been in Indiana, for what I remember.
right, and the Catholic supply store happened a year and a half, more than a year and a half after the Delphi case. How in the world would she have remembered specifically a 4 o'clock? I don't know. It just seems confused. It seems like she just doesn't want to believe it, you know, more than anything. So, again, don't want to call her a liar, but
Well, yeah, and again, it's like I had told people when they brought that out. That one, firstly, FBI had talked to her.
mm,
The FBI had talked to her, had talked to his neighbor, had talked to his friends, had talked to everybody that he knew. They had talked to all of them. Now, when law enforcement talks to you concerning an investigation, they tell you, look, this is an ongoing investigation. We want this quiet. Don't discuss what we've talked about with anyone, please.
right.
Now, if you do, or somebody asked, you could be like, yeah, I remember we had a dinner date, and blah blah blah, and pass it off. That way, nobody's like clued in and can go out and solve this case. Well, wrong, because when they came out, that was my first thought. It's like, yeah, I already know that something's up with that. I know damn well. Be it the FBI, be it her, however it is, and believe me, man, she's doing what she feels right.
Yep.
I mean, the FBI's got this in hand. I'm not saying that they don't, but but on the flip side, she's repeating what she was told to say, and rightfully.
Yep.
I can't take that from her, but she's saying what she was told to say.
Exactly. I would be freaking out if I was in her shoes, so I can't really judge her. But even if it was a 4 o'clock dinner date to avoid the rush for Valentine's Day, okay, this was still the day before Valentine's, and also an early date. I have a hard time believing it. Anthony Greeno grew up and he didn't even know where the bridge was. So why would young girls necessarily know who a prominent adult is? Oh, yeah, true. You're right. They may have not known a name necessarily, but I understand where you're coming from.
Well, yeah, okay, but just a little side note, because I mean, like the prominent people in Kokomo, I might know some of them by name. I wouldn't know them by face. But Delphi is a small community, and generally with 3,500 people, and I'm not suggesting that a young girl knew all the prominent people in town like that.
Sure.
But with the bridge, look, man, my dad lives like 3 miles down from where the crime scene happened at, on County Road 200. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, I had been down County Road 200 many, many times over many, many years. I had no idea that trail was there. It ain't marked. It ain't like, here's a big trail. I didn't even know that bridge was there until I had went back there. I had no clue.
Wow.
And I don't think that most people did, man. It was a very small trail. It wasn't heavily traveled. But I think that that's what made it such a good spot for him. Mm-hmm. And I take it back like this, man. He had lost that job prior to. Well, was he en route of travel when he stopped at Evansdale? Or did he go there purposely that day to go kill, knowing it was a small trail, lacked security? Locals didn't know him by face or name. Because that's how I look at it here. If he had a dinner date with his wife that night, he went to Delphi, to that small trail, for those reasons. Lack security. Now, it's not highly traveled. I'm not going to be spotted. Locals don't know my face or name. He felt secure going there. So was it the same on both? Or was he in travel when he stopped at Evansdale? Because Delphi can relate that he drove from St. Louis to here to commit that murder. That's why he was there that long. As soon as it was done, he was gone.
I think that whatever transpires, like you're talking about, just from his Twitter account and then something else I was talking to you about today, it empowers him. And he started his Twitter account like right after the Delphi case. And I find that strange, as well as another account.
No, wait, hold it. That's not totally true.
Oh, no?
The Twitter account
wasn't started after that?
Well, It was started before that because now what happened was is he stopped posting in November of 2016. And I think that was for lack of money. And he didn't start it back up and repost again until April of 2017.
Oh, I retract. For some reason, I was thinking February 15th, and I don't know where that came
You know
from.
what? You might be.
He must have come into some
No,
money.
I know that his Facebook account was started after that.
Okay. That's where it was Facebook.
But Twitter was beforehand.
Okay. My apologies. Yep, you're right.
No need to apologize.
But
It's free and easy on the Michael Katt channel, man. We're just here having a good time. Remember that.
something definitely empowered him around that time in February for some reason, money or otherwise.
Well, if we look at the Evansdale FBI profile of the suspect, they said that he may have had job issues, financial problems prior or during that time. Well, that was the case. He had just lost a job. Now, he had just lost a job prior to the Delphi case. Then you have the reversible dates. It just seems so bizarre.
Absolutely.
Because it did fit the profile in both cases.
Yeah, there's so many irony things that are happening around him that the more I look at him and something clicks, I'm like, this is just all falling right into play. That we have the suspect and he is arrested. It's just a matter of time to find it out.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a year, but in a year's time, I mean,
we're going to go insane waiting.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm not. I mean, look, I've already thrown out in video that I'd throw my left arm on it.
I said I'm not betting the farm. I guess there's that little part of me that still thinks, well, I don't know, but
I bet the farm.
I bet the farm.
I bet the minute.
I know you would.
It beats losing the left arm.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I've been trying to read some of the comments and I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. In fact, I'm keeping an eye over there when you talk for any questions. That way I can throw them up to you.
Yeah. Somebody said something about.
Meantime,
oh, yeah. Good.
Just ramble.
Okay. Rambling. Well, okay. I think one of the things that bothers me about this case is a lot of people will get on the family. You know, one family is more in the news or will talk more to the news and one won't. And I think I would be more like that one that won't talk and do interviews because I would be afraid I would say something, really bad that they wouldn't want me to say. So I get really defensive when people slam the family of those girls. It drives me nuts.
You know what? Yeah. And that is like one reason why I have not reached the family to talk about the case. I don't talk about the family in regards to the case because they are innocent and look, they're having a hard time.
Absolutely.
It would be very hard to lose a child like this.
Oh, I don't want to ever have to imagine. And when I started my channel, I made myself a promise that I would not disrespect them. And I hope that I haven't, Sometimes I cut out half of what I say in my videos anyway before I even post them. And I look back and I go, I should have cut that out too. But makes me so mad when people want to say, oh, it's a family member that did this. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I tell people when they bring something like that up. The first people that are looked into is family and friends.
Exactly.
That's what the FBI, they go in, they look at family and friends. They get everybody's alibi. Where was you? What was you doing? When did you hear about it? They go through all the steps.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I mean, and immediately to me, her pulling out her cell phone to capture him on video.
Yep.
With his voice, anybody that is in their family could hear that voice and see that video and say, hey, man, that looks like, you know where I'm at?
Right.
Real quick, like.
Yep.
The FBI would have had that narrowed down. If it was a family member, within a week, he would have been arrested.
Oh, my gosh. Absolutely. I go back to that all the time. If it was someone they knew at some point on that video, that name would have been said and they'd have their suspect the 24 hours after they found him.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here 3 years later.
Yeah, 3 years, man. When this case happened, and I got a hold of Greeno because my thought was, because I was making videos on it, because this was big. This is the biggest thing to ever happen in Delphi, aside of the Amber Green lynching.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the Amber Green lynching with Luella Mabbitt, that was his abducted, person that they thought he had murdered. That's still unsolved. That is an unsolved murder. The only 3 unsolved murders is Luella Mabbitt and the 2 girls. That's it.
Wow. Yeah. For some reason, just being, within your own county, it takes your breath away when something hasn't been resolved. Just like with the Denise case. That's like the one thing in Fayette County, the one case that has not been solved that is closest to my heart anyway. I grew up north of Fayette County, but, and then, of course, the Anne Han Meyer, I don't know why that one wasn't as close to me, considering that's more where I was from, but yeah, I didn't find out about it until the Denise case happened. So I understand why you and, Greeno follow this case, because that's the biggest thing that happened to Carroll County in forever.
When I got a hold of him, and that was the following day, that was on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when I reached him, because he was down in the Carolinas, man, so I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, you got to get back here. You got to fly, man. You got to haul some balls, man. Some really bad shit's happened, and we got to follow this, because off the go, I was just following law enforcement. That was it. That's the only news that there was to talk about, was what law enforcement was up to. Now, it took maybe a few months until we're like, hey, wait a minute, man. You got all this information, but you can't piece it together with the help of the FBI and DNA. You just don't have a clue. Well, what the hell?
Right.
Like what's going on here? Like,
right.
I'm not buying it. So that's when we started like researching into it, looking over persons of interest. But it wasn't until the first year press conference, when I got that statement from Kim Riley, that we didn't know before that this person had never committed a crime before. So, right. I mean, we was looking through like local sexual offenders, trying to nail somebody down.
Yeah.
But we couldn't find anybody.
Yeah.
We never brought forward a person of interest out of the sexual offenders. Like, right. No one. The only person of interest we ever brought forward was Daniel Nations. But, when we got word that he was a person of interest, that's when we started looking into it. And everything fit, but we couldn't place him as being here. We couldn't place how he would have got here. He didn't have money to drive here. He certainly didn't hitchhike. Somebody would have seen him.
Right.
And he was back the following day. So while we was in hope that maybe that there might be a way, but at the same time, when they recanted off of him at the first year press conference, then I got that news from Kim Riley. We was disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
We was very disappointed, but at the same time, learning is knowing. And Absolutely. It led us into a different direction at that point.
Absolutely. And I have watched your channel ever since you and Greeno were hashing out those things in the beginning. And I really respect both of you, because you don't always have to agree. You guys didn't agree on DN. I remember specifically a video where Greeno was like, yeah, it's him. And you're like, maybe, and you guys can go your own separate ways and still, be able to be on this case. And I think you guys have done a great job bringing light to the Delphi case.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think that when we was working together, and I don't know, it's always like how in the hell to phrase that. It's kind of like when you're sitting around and you have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if somebody's sitting right there next to you, I'm thinking, because this is what we'd do, and we'd go back and forth with that. He's like, well, what if? and each time, if the other person's seen any fault in that, then they'd be like, well, yeah, but, and explain their side and be like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, good point. And it would kind of kill the direction that we was going. But
Right.
then at the same time, anytime that one of us would come up with something that fit, the other's like, yeah, right, 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 right. And then we would start cataloging that in our mind as, well, that's a maybe.
Right.
You see where I'm at? If
Hmm.
you've got somebody to go over it with, it really helps in learning.
Yeah. And see, I don't have anybody
I don't
to
have
cover.
anybody. I have work, but man, I talked to him about the case, and he's all about pork chop.
Yeah. People around me are not into the cases like I am. So, like, oh, well, this is, can't really bring this up. It's going to make me sound like a weirdo. So, but my daughter, she's all about it. She's like, no, mom, they wouldn't have done this and they wouldn't have done that. She gives me a good insight.
You know what? That is something that you have.
Yeah.
You have a daughter that is like in an age where that she can, relate to you how she would have felt.
Yeah. Well, and I will ask her, I'm like, wouldn't you have called 911? No, I wouldn't have even called you. What? Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, and I tell people in this that you got two girls on a hiking trail and they're on a bridge. You got a fellow hiker that's coming across that bridge. Now, at that distance from that he was away from them, why would they feel at that time that he was a threat to them?
Yeah.
You see where I'm at? Why would she put that on video record when the guy's just walking over across the bridge? He's just a fellow hiker. Why would you do that? Well, she did it and stuck that in her top, her waistband pocket, whatever, because she wanted his voice. She wanted law enforcement to hear what was going on. Now,
Mm,
that tells me that she knew he was a threat when he was approaching them.
right.
So,
I went over that with my daughter, and she said that she wouldn't have wanted to ruin the moment. Again, I have to say that I'm very much a helicopter mom. And when I asked her these questions, I was floored. So trust me when I say I'm still trying to reel from this. Um, I said, somebody drops you off, and you probably have an hour and a half to play around, or what would you be doing? Just, I'd probably be taking pictures, or we'd probably be acting goofy, and we wouldn't be just going straight to the bridge. We probably would be slowly walking. I mean, the things she said, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I said, no, nobody would be to get you for an hour and a half. You wouldn't think about texting me or calling me if somebody approached you and said something off color or bad to you or anything. And she said, I wouldn't have wanted to ruin the moment with my friend.
wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, of course, the mom mode in me was like, no, you
You know what?
don't
No,
you ever.
mom mode's different than young girl mode
Right.
because, we're more logically wise about things.
Mm-hmm.
Where that they have not seen or understood, that might be a characteristic that they probably wouldn't feel that person was that kind of threat. They'd never seen that.
Yeah, I said, what if he would have said, oh, and I was trying not to be totally gross to my daughter. I said, what if he asked you if you had a boyfriend or did you want one or something weird like that? She's like, well, no, that wouldn't have made me call you or text you. Like, oh my good grief. I mean, so for anybody that says, why didn't the girls call 911? I'm starting to get a better understanding as to why. Even if Libby was the leader, maybe in the group, um, she probably wouldn't have. I think my daughter is pretty much a leader and not a follower. And even in that moment, and I don't know what she would actually do, and I hope she never has to find
Yeah.
that out. But I was expecting her to give me the answers I wanted to hear, and she did not.
I'm with you. I am because when we ask things of girls that age, we expect like a response that we would expect. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
no, I would call. No, I definitely would call you. I would call law enforcement. I'd do whatever it took to save me and my friend. But at the same time, they're looking at it because they don't have that wisdom. They
Yep.
don't have that understanding that, hey, this guy might be more than just a voice. This guy might mean real intentions.
Right.
know?
Oh, yeah. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about that conversation. Lily White. God, if I told my parents what I did at that age, didn't have so. Oh yeah, Lily, I hear you, girl.
Yeah. You know what? And that goes double for me. Oh, if my parents ever knew, man, I would have had my backside blistered.
Oh,
Holy crap.
thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, I once I talked to my daughter about it, it opened my eyes. It definitely did. But yeah, Lily, you're exactly right. The things I did, my mom still don't even know. Thankfully, probably still get smacked around.
You know what I think at this time, because the parents that raised me, they, okay, he died in 86. No, in 85, right before I joined the military. And she died in 88.
Hmm.
But by now, I would naturally assume that I would have, had went to him and gone, yeah, you remember that one time, because you're older, you're wiser, you knew you got away with it, and you knew that getting away with it wasn't right, and you want their forgiveness, or at least a good ass beating to make it look good.
Exactly.
One or the other,
Exactly.
And hey, when you're in your 50s, you can take an ass whooping, man, probably every bit as good as you could when you was younger.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Mary, I was kidnapped at age 6, but thought I heard my mom yelling, "Run, he's a bad man." We still talk about that. Oh my gosh. That's
Oh,
that's crazy. I'm glad you weren't.
yeah.
Man.
And see, that's a case I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's always best that it does not occur.
Yeah, when I was in 3rd grade, we rode our bikes to school, and I always rode with my 2 little friends that were in the same neighborhood, but that morning for some reason I was late. They went on without me. And this is not funny. I don't know why I just laughed, but just that moment thinking back of what here I come, like the Wicked Witch on her broom or something, like I was the big bully in town. They were screaming at the top of their lungs, blocks away, and I heard them. Here I come on my bike. They said some guys were in a car and they looked at them wrong. Probably, they stayed a little too long at that stop sign, and it freaked them out. And they started screaming. And to this day, they say I saved their life. Well, just riding up on my bike, but it was a big ordeal in our town. We had the principal involved, our parents, the police got involved. It was an El Camino that pulled up next to them. They went and talked to one of the people that owned El Camino in that town. I mean, that's the closest I've ever been a part of any kind of kidnapping, if you will. I don't know that was a real kidnapping, but they were freaked out. I know that.
I had an El Camino. I loved my El Camino.
Hey, you gotta love an El Camino.
That was a good car. I
Hey.
caught it on fire. It was my bad.
Jeez, how'd you catch it on fire?
Well, inside the motor, and when we was trying to start it, it had flooded and it caught fire. So what did I do? I slammed the hood to try to smother it. No,
Oh, son.
no, yeah, it was fried. I just ended up junking it, and I was like, man, crap, my bad.
Oops.
Yeah, I thought it would smother. Whoa. Wait, where does science go now?
Oh gosh. I ran and told him. I missed that. I ran and told him I had a gun in my bag. Oh, that's Barbara. I've missed some stuff along the way. Oh, I was downtown Indy once and a guy tried to get me in his car. Oh my gosh. There's more scary stories out there than we've ever known. That's crazy, Barbara.
Tell me when you want to take caller questions. We can do that at any time that you like.
Oh, I'm ready if you are.
Okay. Well, all right then. Let's throw that up. That is the phone number. If you wish to call, there it is.
Excited.
And you can talk right to Incognito Society, the little bunny on the screen.
Alaska Blue is in the house.
Alaska Blue is in here, and I appreciate that, Alaska. She rocks the most.
Awesome.
All my mods are the best.
Awesome.
I give them all high praise.
They do a good job. Well, if you're just listening and you want to donate to Michael's channel, I bet the mods will put up his PayPal link for you.
They've been doing that. They're very good.
Awesome.
Yeah. No need in enticing.
Well, I'm just saying. I have said it before in this stream that you guys do a better job. You do a better job at keeping people informed on this case than law enforcement, than news, anything.
Well, I mean, there are some reasons behind that, but I mean, I've expressed them multiple times. I'm sure people get tired of hearing it. But like for the first 2 years, Greeno was here and we was covering this case.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave us 24/7 to give each other information to, he could look stuff up. I was looking stuff up. We was comparing notes. We was talking. Now, we came upon a lot of good information, and that's what we was putting out. But then as time went by there, he left, and I forget what the reason was. He went to jail, then he got out. Then he went back to jail, like just coming up on a year ago. And then when he went back to jail, he was in there for a while. But that was right when I found Thomas Bruce. Now, if he was sitting here in the house when I was picking up Thomas Bruce, he would have been as convinced as I. Totally.
Right.
But he was in jail. Now, since he got out and I showed him what I had, well, the Delphi briefing, and I'm all like, dude, I've explained it. So anyway, he's elsewhere on it, and then that's fine. But I did offer him 50%. I did. I says, hey man, if you want in, man, I'd hop in now.
Yeah.
I think it's in, man. I'm like, okay, I'm not pressuring you, man. I'll take it solo. That's cool.
No, I think it's great that you guys can, have opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yes, but we normally never did.
True.
We never ever really came across anything because, if it was bad information that the person was thinking, the other person would normally point that out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We would sit and we'd talk about that and reduce it to an answer, either a maybe, a yes, a no. We'd kind of narrow that down. But I mean, it wasn't until he went to jail and got out. But man, I mean, since he went to jail and got out, he ain't been there. We haven't really been like speaking that much one-on-one. So we're not really reliant. He took his channel elsewhere.
Sure.
I'm taking mine now into guest because I enjoy having a guest. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor.
No problem. It's my enjoyment.
Oh. Good.
It makes my Tuesdays better.
Yay. Yeah, I enjoyed Icons last week. He's a riot.
Love Icons.
Yeah.
I do. He called me yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah, forget it was probably about 12 o'clock. We talked for about an hour.
Nice.
Right. And then he's all like, he's like, hang on, man. There's my old lady with the dinner plate, man. That means she's wanting some lunch. He's like, man, I'll give you a call back in an hour. All right. I'll talk at you then, bud. And just at that exact time, my friend down the road gets a hold of me. Hey, man, can you come down and watch my girl for a couple hours? And I'm all like, dude, no. No. All right, I will.
Oh, that's so
I
nice.
never got his call back.
Oh, well, I subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, he's a great channel.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I do like Icons, man. I like anybody that speaks truth, man. It don't matter the truth you're speaking. If you're speaking the holy word, of truth, I back you 100%. If you're out there and you're running a rumor mill and you don't have dick with what you're talking about, yeah, bite my balls. just move on, man. Don't show up at my channel, man. I'll boot you instantly.
Exactly.
That's me. That's who I am. Deep down. And Wolf agrees.
Wolf agrees.
Wolf totally agrees. He told me.
I'm so proud of my little puppers tonight.
Oh,
She's
what kind of dog you got?
Oh, the half Shih Tzu and half Chihuahua.
Wow. That's a
Yeah,
wow.
she's a brat.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. That's what makes them good.
And then I have a lab also.
Oh,
He's
labs. Great
short.
dogs. Great
Yeah.
dogs.
He's a. And both of them are being really good by not barking tonight. I can't believe it. Nobody wants to talk to me.
No, I'll talk to you. Hang on. Actually, I should be sitting here rather than listening. You know, I should be more reliant upon questions to ask you, and that's my bad, and I apologize.
Oh, no. I meant nobody's calling in to talk.
Oh, well, I got the ringer off. Hold on.
Well, that could be a problem.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Let me throw the number back up. Bam. There you go. Yeah, if you want to call and talk to Incognito Society, there it is.
Yay.
But you see, anytime I click on a thing, it's going to erase the number off.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. I had the worst Shih Tzu like dogs ain't for me.
You had what?
Barbara Gordon says, I had the worst Shih Tzu. Dogs ain't for me. I love dogs.
Oh, Barb. No, Barb. Dogs are for everyone.
Oh, I mean little dogs, she said. Yeah, I understand. They're the meanest ones. My lab is a big baby.
Yeah, but Chihuahuas are such a one-person dog, and I love that, man. My mom had a Chihuahua named Susie. You could not hey, Mom, how you doing? That dog would go for your arm if you tried to touch her. That dog hated everybody. Loved my mom. My mom couldn't go to the bathroom without that dog.
That is our dog.
Mom, they're definitely a one-person dog.
Now, our dog looks more like a Shih Tzu, but acts like the Chihuahua. Like, she only likes 5 or 6 people. And she's gonna eat you alive if you're a stranger. It's ridiculous. Nobody can come to the door. Please call me ahead of time before you come to my house.
Make sure the guard dog's put away.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about the big dog outside. It's the little one inside you got to watch.
See, now Wolf will bark, and when I do a video with him, I will get him to bark because I got something that he's going to bark because, I'll be giving it, do you want to play? Do you want, until he barks to kind of fill in that place where he'd be answering.
Yeah.
See where I'm at, and people go like, you shouldn't try to get your dog to bark. He'll bark all the time. Man, my dog don't bark. The only time my dog barks, somebody at the door, his ass is running to bark at that door to let me know that somebody's there. If I'm not home, somebody could knock on that door all day and he isn't barking one little bark.
Really? He doesn't care?
He knows I'm not here to answer.
That's funny.
It is, but it's also a dead giveaway that I'm not home.
Ooh.
You're like, no, he ain't barking. I see. Let's go in. Because Wolf would be like, cool enough with me. Got pig.
Exactly. That's all he cares about.
Yeah. Oh, he loves people, man. My dog loves people. I mean, hell, somebody broke in to rob the house, man. He'd be right behind him. He don't know.
Yeah.
He don't know. Hey, somebody's here. Love me for a minute.
No, that's my lab. He has a gruff bark, obviously, and you think he's going to eat you alive, but he'd just lick you to death. He would let him walk in my house and rob it. Seriously.
Let's get back to some cases.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I can talk about dogs all day.
Yeah, me too. In fact, I could have went right into a story about a dude that I'm going to. Forget it. It's already happening now.
Yes.
This friend of mine that lives in Delphi, he put a post up yesterday saying, would anybody like to try some coyote meat if I get more? And I put in there, I'm like, no, I would never do that. I liken that as akin to cannibalism. And he's like, well, I don't understand. Is it your spiritual beliefs? Is it that you just like him? Is it because you're a Buddha? And I'm like, no, actually none of that. I said, the thing is a coyote's going to taste like my dog Woof. And you know what? I don't want to know what that tastes like.
Exactly.
I would rather die.
Exactly.
I am not going to eat a canine. I'll eat any other animal. Hell, I'll go skin out a skunk and eat it, but I'm not going to eat a dog. I ain't going to eat a fox. I ain't going to eat a wolf. I ain't going to eat a coyote. That ain't going to happen. I'll die first.
Definitely. That's a good one.
Yeah, it ain't a good one. It's fact true.
I hear you.
But I told him, I says, I ain't got no problem with somebody else eating it. I mean, hey, if you like coyote, cool enough. But I ain't.
Yeah. Man, do you guys have a coyote problem up there, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah, we got coyotes and foxes. The foxes only become an issue in the spring when they got babies that are finishing weaning. Then they go after a chicken. They'll take a chicken every single day.
Mm-hmm. I have to watch my dog letting her out. I'm just afraid there's going to be a coyote around the corner, snatch her up. She would be a snack.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't that don't happen, but it's pretty rare. Coyotes just normally don't come up near your property.
Well, they sound like they were right behind my house because there's a cornfield and then there's like a tree line back there. Oh my, sounded like a woman screaming. You walk outside and you're like, holy cow.
You know what? When I take Wolf out at night, and almost every night, at least at some point when I take him out at night, there's coyotes in the far back down there by the wildcat. And they're all like, yeah, doing their coyote stuff. And Wolf will just sit there and listen to them. But not like they're a dog. It's just that he's listening. It's almost like instinctively, he knows they're wild dogs.
Oh, gotcha.
You know where I'm at? It's like he's listening to that and he don't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
And I tell him, I mean, like every night when he's listening to it, like maybe not every single night, but at least 3 to 4 nights a week, I tell him, I'm like, Woof, they're wild dogs, man. They got to go hunt. They ain't got a house to go to. They don't have food. They got to go hunt it. Like I always try to express things to Woof in the best way I can.
Yeah, make him realize what he has in life, right? He don't have to hunt his meat.
Yeah. They ain't got nobody there to love them.
That's right.
Yeah. Very self-dependent, are they?
Alaska, who do you think is the Delphi killer? I came in late. Oh, well, the best suspect that we have right now is TB. If it's not him, like I told Michael, I'm not betting the farm on it. However, everything adds up with him, and law enforcement will not talk about him at all. You've not heard anything since a year ago when St. Louis first called Delphi. And then that's the last you've heard. If it's not him, then I feel like it's not somebody local to the Delphi town itself. So I don't really have anybody outside of TB other than if it's not him. I don't feel that they're local. I don't feel that the girls knew who it was.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, Alaska. Appreciate that.
That's my mod.
She's awesome.
I know it. And you know what? She works for free.
Oh, and she says TB, yes.
She works for free. She just shows up and she does a great job, and I could not be more appreciative.
What a rock star.
I know.
That's awesome.
That's the people that are around me. Wolf's a rock star.
Yes, he is. He's a cute little rock star.
Okay, so back to a case. Now, we had mentioned Anne, and we had brought Delphi up, and there was another case that you had brought up.
Denise?
Yeah, that's right. And we did talk about Denise. Mm-hmm. There was some things that I wanted to say, but this is kind of your show.
You say everything you want to say.
No, because then it's just like me sitting here being live when that ain't what the show is about. The show is about having you on as a special guest so that you can talk.
Well, I'm not sure I'm doing any justice here. I've never ran a live show, so you go right ahead. You say whatever you want.
You know what? Last Tuesday when I had Icons on, he's got 27, almost 28,000 subscribers. He had never been live before.
Wow.
Not one time. He's like, no, this is the first time I've ever been live. I was like, yes, cool, great. And I got it. Now, I messed that up so bad.
What?
Because him and I was talking like you and I was before I started the show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, when I did that, I go up here every time, a la habit, and I click end broadcast. Well, when I did that, it was go live, not in broadcast. So I clicked that, and then noticing, oh crap, I just hit go live. So I clicked end broadcast, and I clicked back out of it. Now, during the show, when him and I was sitting there talking, there was like 8 people, and I'm like, my God, 30 people got a hold of me and said that they couldn't wait. I'm like, where's all the people? Everybody knew. Where's all these people? Well, what had happened is the other one that was called Icons that I set up for him and I to, verbalize together was still showing live.
Oh, yes, it was.
It was just me clicking the mouse and stopping, and that's what everybody was seeing. It really held his video up, and I apologize to him, and I'm sure that we'll get another interview with him, but it's still up so that people can view it.
Yeah, he was great. I'm not doing as bang up job as he is. I'm sorry, guys.
You know what? Yeah, that's not true at all. That isn't true at all. I think that you are covering things remarkably well.
Well, thanks. But you were going to say something. I think we have a couple of questions. Michael, I think you are right about the Flum case. What do you think, Incognito? Oh, yeah. Again, Michael, I think he said this before, but I'm not sure. Kind of came on the case of the Nice Flum case due to a video I had done.
Yeah.
And mine was very minimal. And he spent days in this past week or two just totally laying it out. And he had a suspect in a matter of a day or two. I'm like, holy cow. Yeah, I definitely agree. Oh, we have a phone call.
Hello? Hello? No, not until I put you on the air. Yeah. Sure. Who is this? Okay. All right. You got a question for Incognito? Go ahead.
Hello, am I on there?
Yes.
What is this? What's going on?
All right, fuck it, man. Yeah, you know what? You can tell by their voice they're brain dead.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
Am I on the air? Yeah. Can I get on the air, please? Am I on now?
Well, okay. Well, at least they tried.
No, I don't even think he tried.
Yeah, it was going to be something stupid. I'm sure.
Probably. I had one guy say the F word, and I'm like, please, dude. I say that shit in passing. In every video. Watch. It'll come out. It'll happen.
Oh, here we go again.
Hello. Because she wasn't saying shit. That's why. Well, what is your question?
It's better if it happens on the air so everyone can hear.
Carry on.
Am I on the air?
You're on the air.
Are you sure I'm on the air? Let me listen to make sure, because I don't believe you at this point. You can understand where I'm coming from.
You're on the air. Go, dude.
Listen, I confirm that I'm on the air, so I am. That is exciting. But what am I on the air? What is this? What is this? What is going on? Why are you taking calls?
You called to ask me why I was taking calls?
Well, I'm asking, what is this? I mean, this is confusing. I'm not the only one who's confused. What is going on? You're on YouTube doing this? What is going on?
Are you watching this on YouTube?
I'm watching, trying to figure out what's going on along with everybody else. Where are we right now? What is going on? What are you doing? What is this?
And this, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
crazy.
This is the lower ranks of IQ that I speak of quite often.
Seriously.
Oh yeah, you can tell someone's got a high IQ.
Yeah, I can. Rather quick.
Wow. Michael, you're so much nicer than I would be.
Yeah, not really. If I wasn't live, I probably would have told him to fucking. Oh, see, there it is. There was the F word. I told you it was coming.
You were doing so well.
Ah, man, you know what? I need to try harder. Damn it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's good stuff.
Thank you.
Keeps it entertaining.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't for entertainment. Okay, now, anyway, back to what you was saying beforehand. Now, I know it's going to be hard to remember, but take it back.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Were we talking about the Denise case?
Yeah, you know what? Yes, you was. I think that you was talking about that I had looked into it.
Yes. So then you mapped out everything and had a person of interest within, 2 days?
No, actually, it was 3 to 4 days.
Okay, 3 to 4 days. And I've been looking at this case, since I was 9. I'm 43 now. What's that up to?
Oh, yeah, don't let that out.
I probably didn't investigate it at 9, but, let's just say since I was in my 20s, 20-some years, looking at this case, have heard all of the rumor mill, like you guys do in Delphi, you hear everything and every person's a suspect from family to friends. And Michael just laid it all out and was like, this is your best person of interest. I don't know why I can't talk tonight. Person of suspect is what I keep wanting to say, but person of interest with Larry D. Hall. I don't know why he has not been interviewed for this case.
He has, though.
Because of law enforcement has went to him, or?
Yes. Now, that's what I heard. I can't state from whom.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure that you know from whom.
Okay.
And he told me that law enforcement had brought it to his attention, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I don't know anything about it." But that's exactly what he would say.
Have to, yeah.
Because he knows that they don't have a body. Nobody's seen him or his vehicle. They can't place him there and say he did it. So why would he have to say anything? What he's afraid of, and this is what he said, Larry D. Hall, I could take you to a lot of the bodies, but I need immunity first because Indiana's a death penalty state, and he don't want the death penalty.
Right. And see, with that Trisha, I always stop before I say her name. It's either Reitler or Rittler.
I just say Reitler and leave it.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure which one it is, but I just go with the first.
On that fact that you just talked about, leading them to the bodies, he confessed to her murder, but when he led them to a place, it was the wrong place. They didn't find nothing. So I completely understand what you're saying. Because of the death penalty thing, he's not going to tell them where any bodies are that he's done. And did you say 54 was possible that he's responsible for, or was it 44?
I read 2 different articles, which where I got those, and I understood even when I put it in there. Now, I think that one of those could have been in a singular state, but I think all of it with all the states combined was 54.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a lot of missing women and girls, and not one of them. And he is a person of interest in every single one of them, at least a person of interest. And has not admitted, well, and some of them he did, like, what was her name? Lori Deppes from Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. He admitted to that. Okay. And then when they brought him back in, he's like, oh, that was just a dream that I had. Now, if I was the interrogation officer at that point, I would have said, how could you have had a dream about a woman that you had never heard of until we brought that to your attention?
Right.
You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
Why are you playing us? I mean, I would have gotten a little bit like upset, man. And I think that while interrogation officers, and it's really dependent upon the interrogation that they're doing, a lot of times they try to play low key as long as you're playing along. Mm-hmm. But then if you're not, then they start bringing some heat, the outside influence, the good cop, the guy that, they start going by those methods. But the simple fact is he admitted to it. Right. Totally admitted to it, and then retracted, going, oh, it was just a dream I had. I would have beat the freaking shit out of his ass.
Exactly.
because every single one of those girls, when they were being abducted, he needed that. He needed that plus.
Mm-hmm.
What would stop me from doing that? Not a damn thing. Nothing.
Right.
They could fire me from my job and I'd say, you know what? The son of a bitch needed it.
Exactly. Yeah. To only be in jail serving a life sentence for kidnapping when they have potential 54 cases out there that could be solved, why don't they go get his DNA? Do they have DNA in every case? I don't know.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, man.
We don't even have a body with Denise Flum.
found.
Actually. I'm sorry.
Most of the bodies were never found. And,
Yeah.
and if they were this long later, there wouldn't be any DNA.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you see where I'm at? Even fingerprints. I mean, it would all be long gone.
Yep.
So he's kind of in the clear as long as he don't confess. And that's where the issue comes into play. Because if they go in there to ask him about anything, I don't know, man. I wouldn't. I don't even know who that is. You know, I'm serving life without parole. Leave me alone. And off he goes, right back to doing life without parole. But he knows full well, man, in Indiana, they could stack those cases up and give him death quick. But the thing is, they would have a hard time proving it, man. A very hard time, unless he admitted. But, I mean, he told him, man, that, like, hey, if you give me immunity, I can take you to the bodies. But now, when we're looking at Denise Flum, that's a little different. Because, look, in 1986, I traveled a lot through the country roads. A whole lot through the country roads. And even when I think back of where we was at that time, I couldn't tell you, was it Fulton County? Was it Marshall County? Was it Miami County? Was it Cass County? I don't know. I mean, you know, he'd have a hard time going back and remembering where all those bodies were at that point.
Right.
You know, exactly. That's a long time back.
Was there physical evidence possibly with DNA in the Denise Flum case? No, there's no body. They've never found her.
You know, another thing that I kind of failed to put in that video was the fact that the driver's side door was wiped down to prints.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being the case, because, look, if he got in the passenger side only, he wouldn't have had to wipe off the driver's side. That says that the suspect was probably the last to leave her vehicle.
Right.
Now, that means that there was a secondary car and probably an accomplice. That's another reason. And that plus the time tells me that two people were involved with the getaway vehicle.
Yeah, definitely. There was not even track marks into where her car was parked, which is bizarre to me.
You know what? Yeah, but there was reason. There was reason for that. Because, you know, I was told that once people knew where the car was, that a lot of people had walked back to there and around it, and there was no way to find any tracks leaving it. He said everything was just totally disturbed in every way.
That's right. They did have a search parties out there. Hundreds of people volunteered to go out there and look. Yeah,
right. It messed up a lot of evidence.
Yeah. Yeah, the car had been wiped clean. And this is 1986. They brought in what was forensics back then. They did some sort of light laser to look over the car. There wasn't a fingerprint on it. Nothing. The car was locked. And so to give a little history, if you haven't watched my videos or had a chance to watch Michael's video on Denise, was she was like 2 months away from graduating high school at Carnersville High School. She was on spring break. It was a Thursday night. She went to a party. She was invited by somebody to go with them to this party. She made it home from the party, and the next morning she realized she did not have her purse. And she told her parents she was going to go back to the site of the party and get that purse. And she left her house about 12:30 p.m. on a Friday. It was Good Friday, right before Easter, so that's disheartening too on top of that. But
yeah.
And then they never saw her anymore. So at 8:30 that night, so 8 hours later, they called law enforcement when she hadn't returned. Again, no cell phones in 1986, reported it to law enforcement. The next day, a farmer had called, and on the opposite side of the county from where she was from, He said he had seen her car there parked about 1:15 the day before on Friday. So he called it in on Saturday
Yeah.
because it was still there. So that was a 45-minute window. And he saw nobody around it, no other vehicles in the area, no other people. The locals call it Tower Road, but I think it's 650 or 625.
It's 650 West.
There you go.
But the tower is like 100 feet north of that four-way stop on the left side.
Fielding Road.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah. And that was close to Glenwood, and she was from Everton. So that's two opposite ends of the spectrum. And from my understanding, the party wasn't even out that way. There was no talk of this case for many years. It went cold, even though they never called it a cold case. But in the past year or so, this time last year, they were draining a pond at the Mary Gray Bird Sanctuary. They had said that some tips led them there, but unfortunately, nothing turned up at that pond. And then this past summer in July, they brought in Richard. I just lost his name. W is the last. I'd have to go look it up. Anyway, he's I guess a world-renowned criminologist. He supposedly met with law enforcement locally and said, looked at all of the paperwork and said, this is your suspect right here. I don't know who that is that he said that to, but it gave everybody hope that this case was going to come to a close pretty rapidly. And here we are 4 months later, no more talk of it. And that's where we are. So I've been kind of making videos to bring light, at least talk. I'm not really doing a lot of investigating other than what I'm getting from law enforcement or news. And that's where we're at. Michael and Incognito, if you called the state police about the Flum case to set up a meeting with the officer in charge, do you think they would be? I don't know if I want to do that. I know who that officer is.
Yeah, I know who that officer is too. And you know what? I don't think that he's going to want to talk to me very well.
Yeah.
Because, I call it how it is, man, with law enforcement. I take no beef from them. When they are lying, I'm like, you're lying. You are just straight lying. Do you realize you're lying, sir? I don't like law enforcement, but I don't like law enforcement because of the way that they handle things. Just like Denise Flum, it's one of those things where is if they don't have anything and they don't want to waste any investigation time, they write it off like, well, we believe it could be this guy, but give us more time. It's been 33 years. And that's that they're not working this case. They're not even looking into this case.
Right.
And that's what's criminal to me.
I agree. It's just died off. And then you get the new sheriff comes in, every 4 to 8 years, and then it starts all over again. And then we get some hype maybe just to be led down a dead end.
Well, the bird sanctuary with the pond. Looking back, and I do remember that. I remember that being on the news because I was down at my friend's house when that they were talking about that. Now, I didn't know anything about the case, but I remembered when it happened because they was talking about it on whatever news that they had on down there. Mm-hmm. But, then looking back on it, once I found a person of interest, my thought was, he wouldn't have threw her in the pond.
Right.
Not right there. I don't want to be graphic, but you know how it is. Bodies float. Yeah,
they would have. Well, again, how the rumor mill was that she was weighted down. But there has been so many rumors that who knows? I think it's just people that start talking and then they start making it a rumor, just like the Delphi case.
Yeah. Well, look, there ain't been no rumors like the ones with Delphi case. I was explaining that to my friend that was on here earlier last night. He's like, man, do you realize all the strange people that call law enforcement? And I'm like, dude, in the last 3 years, you wouldn't have an understanding of the people that I've talked to. That shit got old real fast. It got old so fast. I'm like, oh, another person with a tip. Great. Can't wait to hear this shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because every single one was stupid. Every single one was Facebook theory. Every single one was somebody out of their mind. It was some scared woman. There was a taxi driver. Oh, he got in the vehicle and he said Ronald Logan didn't do it. How would he know? Like, oh, God, Lord, lady, please go to bed, man. Take a pill.
Poor Ron Logan. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's awful.
Well, can't nobody look at Bridge Guy and say that's a 77-year-old man, please.
No
Please.
way. Absolutely not. The guy just wanted to have a beer and pizza. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, then they got him for a DUI probation for drinking and driving, you know?
No,
It was Richard. Yeah, you know, I wish Richard would tell me how to pronounce the last name, but I'm going to say Kanash.
I was going to say Canuck.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
It sounds Canadian. Canuck.
Carolyn. No, I have not.
Thank you very much, Jay Richard, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome, Jay Richard.
And it has been a good show. Here, let me put that up for everybody. Bam. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's awesome. Carolyn, no, I have not talked to her family. I'm on the Justice for Denise Facebook page. I don't know what their take is, but I feel like their take might be. So you have to take this with a grain of salt because this is my feelings. I have no idea because I have not talked to them. But they feel like it's more local, that it's not Larry D. Hall. I feel like there's so much talk in this town. Well, if you know the Delphi case, you know how much talk goes on there. Imagine that for 33 years. So you hear every possible aspect. Family gets blamed. Friends get blamed. Boyfriends get blamed.
The farmer got blamed.
Farmer got blamed. Law enforcement gets blamed.
Yeah.
There was...
Pigs got blamed.
Pigs got blamed.
Pigs get blamed in a lot of murders.
I remember hearing the possibility when I was 9 years old that she had run away. But there's no way. After all these years and with social media, no.
Well, think about it. And that's kind of the reason that I put that in the video was that she was 1 month away from her senior prom, 2 months away from graduation, and she was off to college. Yeah. Academic or athletic. She had a scholarship coming. She had life by the balls.
Exactly.
She had no reason to run away, man. Life was great for her, man.
Exactly. She was athletic. And in this town, that's prominent, in that town was... to be on the basketball team is a big deal. She was smart. She was going to go to be a biologist or something with science.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't know exactly what that was, but yeah, she was very smart.
Mind of science.
Yeah.
It's where my mind goes.
Yeah. I just don't understand after all these years why there can't be an arrest, but I also realize in the Delphi case, I think the sheriff's department doesn't have the resources, and they never have, to really investigate like they should.
Well,
until now.
I mean, I have an ego. It don't so often, but I do. But it's like I say with everything that I've looked up and found. Anything that I find and I relate to people, I know that law enforcement already knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with her case, I know that they concluded the identical as far as how the crime went, the identical to I did. Because there is no other way to look at that. It happened the way that I said it did. Now what I'm getting at is like, she was abducted at that point. Was it she waved down? Did they just, hey, man, could you, and then abduct, however that may have occurred. But that was her abduction point, was right there. And they knew that. Now, there wasn't a person of interest at that time that they could have pointed to. But after the arrest of Larry Dwayne Hall, then they could have looked at that and said, yeah, man,
fits.
This right here definitely looks to be our guy. This fits his motive. It fits his like trolling territory. There was a Civil War reenactment. Same occurred up here in Rochester. Same happened down here in Anderson. Same happened, and they could have really drew those lines and got to the bottom of it rather quickly. That would have been in 1994. Look at it today, man. We're in 2019. It's almost 2020. No concrete theory, no person of interest. Carry on. Bullshit.
Exactly.
And that's called just lying. That's just called covering up, man. And that's bullshit when law enforcement does that. I'll tell them right to their face.
Yeah, and at least exclude him. I mean, at least go down the path and find out. And I believe it was the state trooper put her, they have the, her baby teeth, the parents do. So they put the DNA into the system. And of course, no hits,
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean she was found, I guess, anywhere else if her body had been taken somewhere else. So,
you know what?
It's good or bad.
I would like to hear from Larry Dwayne Hall.
Yeah, you wrote him.
Because if I do hear from him, and I'm not calling myself the brightest man in the world, but I mean, I'm definitely up there in the top 10. Who's that ego?
There's a humble guy.
I think that I could probably gather some information without actually twisting into it. I think it's just using some characteristics of speech, kind of looking at what it is he's avoiding, but then bringing up things that relate to get him to talking to where he kind of touches more. You know where I'm at?
Yeah.
Over the course of time, you can get a lot of information like that, just like with interrogation. The points they're covering up, so you could keep asking the same points in different ways. Cops do that a lot. They'll ask me something, then they'll ask me again, but in a different way to see if I answer in the same manner. And I usually look at them at that point and I'm like, man, you just asked me that. Why are you asking me again? Are you calling me a liar?
I already told you once.
Yeah. Like, why don't you ask me one more time and see if I don't get pissed?
Yeah.
What do you mean solitary? Man, whoa, calm down.
Yeah. Well, anybody that follows that Chris Watts case, the way that they broke him down. Oh my God. I wish that team was on when they do get Bridge Guy.
You know what? I think that's going to be, how do I want to put it? Like the preliminary people. They're going to put the people that are in charge of that on that because they want that to be fail safe. When they go in and talk to him, they got all the evidence. They got everything against him, everything stacked up, everything lined up, and got it laid out in an order of, well, and then start touching through because over time, then you can get to a point you say, well, I thought that you had said, and start tripping him up, then start covering, there's ways you can break people into, yeah, all right, man. Yeah, I did. Because after a while, they realize there is no way out. Now, if you're Larry Dwayne Hall, there's a way out. They don't have anything on you. He knows that. Only thing that they would ever have on him is if he admitted to it. That would be it. Without a body, and even with the body, they can't say that he did that. There's no DNA. There's nothing that they could trace him back to. So he is in a way kind of free and clear. But if somebody could give where the body is, I mean, in that right there, just that, man, just that would at least be closure for a family. And for what it matters, closure after this long. But it would be. I mean, they would know.
Exactly.
And they would have a plot and, there it would be. And if anything, that's all that I was shooting for with the video was drawing light to the case and maybe in some way trying to get closure.
Definitely. And that's really all I want. I don't know the family personally. My sister-in-law was related to Denise by a cousin, but that family's huge. But she's my ex-sister-in-law now. But it's just one of those cases, kind of like Delphi, that you just can't let go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm going to be on this, but the thing is, I mean, I think I got it to a pretty good degree on how it occurred. And there is nothing more I can say concerning the person of interest. I mean, there was a couple pieces that I left out that I should have included, but honestly, I did throw that together rather quickly. Even the editing was shoddy, and I didn't really like it. I didn't like the video. I didn't like the way that the voice came out. The my Audacity I didn't use in some cases, and I mean it was rather crappily done. I will do a redux of it. You can count on it.
Well, it was good, so stop being hard on yourself. But I wanted to say
No, it wasn't, and I had people tell me as much, and I knew that up front.
Well,
You know, and I did know that up front. And and I'm not asking for people to say, no, it was good when I know it wasn't.
well,
You know,
here's my thing. If my little channel got watched by your bigger channel and more talk has been made from that, that's happiness to me. But Nona617, I can see it on my phone. She donated $3.99, but it didn't show up in the live comments. So I don't know if you knew that or not.
who?
Nona617.
Oh, okay. You know what? I might be able to scroll up here and find her name.
Yeah, I don't see it in the live comments, but on my phone I see it. So
Okay, thank you very much, Nona. Is appreciated by my channel and all involved. Thank you very, very much for the donation.
on Larry D. Hall, it would be interesting to know if what not his motive, that's not what I'm trying to get to, but like the why. And would he end up being, because there was a guy that just was arrested and he is now the most, I don't know how to say this, the most serial killer. He's killed the most women, or they're saying that he did. And I'm wondering if Larry D. Hall isn't going to end up being that person if he was to ever start talking. You know who I'm talking about?
Look, if you're talking about 40 to 54 different women and girls, man, that holds quite an abundance.
Yeah. And who was the guy that just got arrested? I can't think of his name. Man, what is my problem tonight?
Well, you know what? You don't have much of a problem because I don't even think I heard of the guy.
Reed is the last name. Reed. Maybe somebody in the comments will say, but he just was arrested and he's like drawing sketches of his victims and telling law enforcement where they are. I'd have to look it up. Sorry. But my point was, I wonder if talking to Larry D. Hall, if he'd want any kind of publicity or notoriety.
You know what?
Play to his.
That's a good idea. It is. That's a good idea. That's why I like talking to people.
I think that he might start talking if he realized he was, I don't know, number one. I don't know what his thinking is at all, so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but because see, he's in there without any murders, but he knows the amount that he's done. Now,
Right.
if somebody else was to exceed that and he could say, that might be enough because he's not very bright. He might come forward and say, look, if you give me immunity, I can point you to almost every single body. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I need immunity because I'm doing life without parole. I'm never getting out. But you give me immunity, I'll tell you where all the bodies are that I remember. Now, that would help a lot of people. It would help a lot of families. And that might be something that I kind of shoot for.
Oh, good.
Down to longer run. I mean, like not off the go. I mean, you want to get to know somebody.
Sure.
And actually, like when you're talking to somebody that's done something like that, you've got to remember in the back of your mind that, hey, this is a piece of shit. This guy is not worthy of breathing, but you got to play it cool. You got to play along with it because otherwise you're not going to get that information that you want. Now, if it ever came to a close, then you could write him and call him that. Mm-hmm. But through that time, man, you got to play it like it is, man. Like, oh yeah, well, no, I never killed anybody, but and shit like that. But I mean, you got to go through the motions.
Right. Yeah, good angle. If you ever get a response or get to talk to him.
I don't
D'Angelo. Yeah, no,
what?
That's not the one. Sorry, I was having a moment. I thought
D'Angelo was the Golden State Killer, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yes, and I nailed it.
Yeah. Larry Little. No, I don't think. Is it Little? Why am I thinking Reed? I'm sure I'm wrong. Mr. Larry Little. I'm not sure. But somebody said the California killer. You know, it'll come to me like at midnight tonight when I can't talk to you guys.
You know what? A lot of things happen like that. And I mean, I told you about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I will go through a case and I'll look over everything, every angle, every route, every this, every that, every the other thing, and just jam my mind full of it. And until all that information I took in, not even thinking about it, and go about my day. And sometime through that day, a thought will hit me. It's like intuition. Like, hey, that intersection, is that a four-way stop? I better go check that out. It is a four-way stop. Thank you, back of my mind. You see where I'm at? Because the back of your mind's always working on this stuff. Always. If you let it go, your brain's still working on it. You're not like in the front of your mind thinking about it, but your mind's still drawing connections, you know? Yeah. And in a lot of cases, man, that's how things pop up to me. It'll like be an occurrence and I'll think, and then it'll be like, bam, and there it will be. I'll go check that. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. Yes, it is a four-way stop.
Exactly.
Okay.
Callister Smith said Sam Little. That's who it is. So if you get a chance, look up Sam Little.
Okay, will do. And thank you very much. Who had wrote that?
Callister Smith.
Ah, got it. Yes.
Okay. I'm almost positive. Yes, I believe that Sam Little is correct. Yep.
Yeah, and you was correct. Very, very correct. He said his name rhymes with mechanic.
Kinnick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kinnick. Yeah. Richard Kinnick.
J. Richard Kinnick.
J. Richard Kinnick. All right, we got that settled. And Michelle confirmed with Sam Little. All right.
You know what? Lily brings up a good point here. That Larry and his brother were both weird. Now, very true. But now this is what I heard that Larry had stated. That he was tired of covering for his brother for the actions that he committed along his side. Okay? But now that would say to me that Gary did help with some of these. And I believe one of them was the Denise Flum case. That looks like one because that was one of the first ones, right?
Right.
So now Gary's out. Gary's got a Facebook page.
What?
Yeah. Gary has a Facebook page. So I went, man, I tried to friend him.
Of course you did.
Of course I did, man. I want answers, man.
You rock, I swear.
So I friended him, man. You know, I mean, he hasn't friended me back, but he ain't on there very often. But anyway, this guy's out there, and it's pretty much known by me that he had helped in some of these. Law enforcement would have to know that. And that's why I put in that video. You guys need to be looking into Larry and his brother Gary. You see? Because look, man, identical brothers, one ain't falling far from the tree. You see where I'm at? One's going to be very much like the next.
That's scary. Never even crossed my mind about the brother being out. Ooh.
Yeah.
And weirder, all the ironies is crazy that you went to school.
Yeah.
With.
That is weird.
Not them, but a set of twins that were named that. It's crazy.
2 years younger, Gary and Larry Hall. Swear it.
Unbelievable.
Swear it. And you know what? When I first heard the name of Larry Dwayne Hall, and this is going back a few years ago, and I mean, it had nothing to do with Denise Flum. And I forget how it was I even found that or why, but it had popped up and I was looking at that and I was reading through an article where they was talking about like his MO. And at that time, because there wasn't a picture of him in that article, and I'm thinking, okay, from Wabash, I'm thinking like, man, that's got to be the dude that we went to school with. And I told my friend that lives down the road here, man, my oldest friend ever, you know, we grew up together in a way we're kind of related, man. His stepmom and my stepmom are sisters. We didn't even know that growing up.
Crazy.
But yeah, I wasn't raised by my stepmom. I didn't know her at the time. You know, but anyway, aside of the point, you
Sure.
know, and I was telling him, I'm like, man, dude, Larry Hall, man. I mean, like, he's a serial killer. What? I'm like, yeah, dude, I read an article on it because what would be the odds of there being another Larry Hall that was an identical brother to Gary that was a serial killer?
Exactly. That's weird.
But now these two don't look anything like Gary Dwayne Hall and his brother. They was tall, rather slender, blonde hair, lived out near, well, should I even say? But okay, yeah, one of them's near out by Kiwanis, Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, you watch, man. Now the Living Brother's going to get a hold of me.
I know. They'll be knocking at your
Like,
door.
dude, I thought we had this, and you know, I honestly, when I first met him, and they were really good people, and you know, I ain't trying to make like light of that, but what had happened is they first came to our school, they bullied my friend in school. I say bullied. They gave him a hard time when he was walking to lunch. And my friend, I was sitting with him, told me, he's like, hey, man, that dude over there and his brother, man, when we was coming in here, man, he came up and, you know, and all this and that. So I walked over with a Muhammad Ali attitude, like, hey, man, what the hell? You know, all this and that, man. Like, I'll take both of you outside, you know, and they're like, hey, whoa, dude. But it was because of my attitude. You see where I'm at?
Mhm.
Oh, hey, dude, man, whoa, calm down. It wasn't like that, man. We was just fucking around. We was just playing, you know, it wasn't anything real. You know, but then, I mean, all of us, we became very good friends. You know, I mean, hey, we went out to their house, man, and partied and everybody's house. You know, it was all the same. They was really good people,
Yeah.
you know, but it was just like when I first met them, I had a different opinion.
Well, yeah, I would have too. And that's just like guys, you know?
Yeah.
You confront each other and then you guys are all friends again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you throw some fists and let's go get a beer.
Exactly. Now, if it's women, we're going to hold grudges for years. So,
Women and their grudges, man.
I'm telling you.
I got a bunch of them out there, all holding a grudge.
I'll hold a grudge.
Minimally. Minimally holding a grudge.
Minimally holding a grudge. Well, I think Richard, Jay Richard was asking for the phone number. My chat went off again on the screen. Let me see if we can do it again.
Hold on a minute. I can pull that up.
There it is. I got it.
Too late. Hell, I'll even turn the ringer on if you're calling.
He asked for it earlier. I don't know if he's still on, but
I should be. It's 8:04. Yeah, it's only 2 minutes ago. Yeah, he may call in. He may not.
he may
We'll
not.
find out.
He had some good questions.
I'm sure, man. Yeah, he's on it.
Hey, have you ever heard of Mark Hughes when you were, or did you hear of him when you were looking up the Denise case? He had abducted a girl, and that was one of the suspects in Denise's case. I don't know.
You know, I don't want to give out anything that should not be given out.
Okay.
You know, it may deal with him, but I wasn't given a name.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but you know, I was told by a person who, you know, I can take their word for it anyway, that there was a guy that was local that was being looked into.
Gotcha.
But I don't want to give out any more information on that because that could be like investigatory, you know, and I don't want to touch into that on things that shouldn't be stated.
Absolutely. I appreciate that too. Try to maintain the integrity of the case, right?
Always.
We don't really.
I don't mind telling people what that they want to know as long as it ain't interfering with the investigation. But here's the thing, like with Delphi, if I was saying anything in the videos that was messing with their investigation at all, they know exactly where I live. They know my number. They know how to reach me. They could at any time say, dude, stop. And you know what? I would.
Right.
If asked politely. If they tell me to stop, no. In fact, you know, then I would get a little evil about it. Nobody tells me what to do.
Exactly.
I get very, very upset about that.
Jay Richards said he just tried calling in, but no one answered. Michael had the ringer off. Try again.
No, wait, hold on. You know what? It was off, but it is on now. And that is my number there. If you want to, there, that would probably be it.
All right.
Hello? Yes. Yes. Would you like to be on live? Okay. You're on.
Yeah, hey, Michael, and hi, Incognito.
Hi there.
I just go by my middle name, Richard
Oh,
Canick, but
Katt.
when I signed up on the chat, I had to put my whole full name, so the J is for John, but I go by Richard.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a great show, and just to get back, if I could, to TB, I was watching your show the other day, Mike, about you had the list of everything that you think, why you think it's TB in the Delphi case, and I agree with all of it, except I don't think remember I called it one time when we were talking about the cereal boxes with the quarter. Did you have that in your list? I don't think you did.
No, no, what I did have relating to that was the 2 nickels.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, well, I talked about it. I don't know if it was in that video, though.
Okay. I have to go back and look, but I don't know if it was. That still strikes me as such an important clue to him with the serial killing and the boxes and with the Liberty. It's just on the coin. He could have turned the coin the other way too, I guess. Well, no, I guess it was both sides, but just with the word Liberty there, it's just it hits with the head like a sledgehammer, you know. And I think that's an important clue.
Hold on 1 second, because I'm going to go pull that up, okay? I want to pull that picture up so people can see it.
Sure.
Because I got, here it is right here. Hang on, I'm going to put this on my screen. Hang on a second, Incognito.
Sure, no problem.
All right. This is my screen. Can you see the nickels, sir?
It's just, I'm on my phone and I can't really see it because I don't want to lose the connection.
Okay.
I could try.
No, it's fine, but listen to what I'm getting at here. Now, this was in the post that he had put that on, because he did post this, and he posted after the fact when somebody asked about it, about 55, about I Can't Drive 55, and he put the song under it by Sammy Hagar. Now, one person had said, oh, that's Thomas Jerome, not Thomas Jefferson. And he's like, nope, Thomas Jefferson. Now, here's the thing. His name is Thomas, all right? He lived in Jefferson County, all right? Now, he killed Liberty in 2017, and there's a D for a Denver mint mark underneath, which could stand for Delphi. Thomas of Jefferson County murdered Liberty in 2017 in Delphi.
And isn't the coin dated 2017?
No, that's what I'm saying. Right under Liberty, it says 2017 with a D under it.
Oh, my God.
Do you see where I'm at?
Yeah, that is just like broadcasting and Leon. And what Incognito said earlier about, and you did too, that there's been no mention of this guy in the news over all this time. It's like there's this silence about him.
Yeah, like a gag order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They've talked about other people. I've heard, they've ruled out some POIs, but not him. There hasn't been a word about him other than the first day, like you said, when those police officers called about his clothing to Carroll County. And I'm with you, man. I think this is the guy. And they're just stalling until they can. I mean, do you think they have DNA on him?
I know they do. In fact, I believe they got fingerprints.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he didn't have DNA or fingerprints in the file because he had never been arrested.
That's right.
And that's what St. Louis had told Carroll County. He was dressed like Bridge Guy. He looks like the sketch. He had never been arrested, has no DNA or fingerprints in the system. But I think when he was arrested and they ran these fingerprints, they came back as the unknowns from Delphi. And I think that that's when they called right there. That's what led to the call.
And that video you showed him walking during the DWI arrest, he walks with his hands in his pockets and similar kind of gait and
head down.
It's just all over the place. I mean, it's just there's so much there.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I agree, and man, I'm very thankful that you called because you know what? A lot of times when people talk about, they call in to say, "No, it ain't him. He's got gray hair." Like, well, he's got gray hair. He was graying then, but the sides are still dark. I mean, you can see that. It's, you know.
And he did try to alter his appearance a bit, I think, after the crime. And the other thing, getting back to the serial, I think you brought this up the last time I talked. If he had done, which is probably a 99% chance on Evansdale, is it? Evansville?
Yeah. Yep, Evansdale.
That after this one, he would have been a serial killer because it would have been more than one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he puts it right afterwards. It's just like, I don't know. I think this is, I think it's done.
I do too.
I agree.
I agree with you 100%. That's why I watch your channel a lot. And
thank you.
I don't know why these other people are still not, agreeing with this because it's just staring right in the face.
You know, I think that my only on that, I think that so many people, when they're looking up information, they go to Facebook, they go to the rumor mills, they get their heads into a lot of crap that just isn't real. People aren't following facts and circumstances, and they get all that clouded in their mind, and then they're very confused, and they call me and they want answers to that, and I tell them, you stay the fuck off of Facebook, man.
Exactly.
Just don't go there. There are no answers on Facebook. And the only thing that I give my channel, the only thing, is that at least I go by the facts and the circumstances. Because if it isn't real and it don't fit the theory, it's not good. I wouldn't even make a video on it.
Right. No, I don't go there at all. But I really think you should be commended for the work you did in this slum case. This poor girl. And this cop won't even talk. I mean, that's a travesty.
It is, right? Exactly. I called it criminal, and it is to me.
I mean, if I knew somebody in the news business to send this story to again, to bring it up and have a national show on it or something, because this guy, like you're saying, maybe 55.
Yeah, he's 2 years. He'd be 55 now.
And before you did the show, I never heard of this guy before. That's how little coverage, and I kind of watch true crime, it's always been, an interest of mine for a long time. And I never heard of this guy. That's a sin.
Yeah, it is. 54 different women. You would think that he would be big, huge news.
Yeah. Well, the other guy, Samuel Little, that's the other person. I thought it was Larry Little, but I'm in New Orleans, and he's down. They bringing him down here because there's a murder that took place. I think 2 of them that they're trying to connect him to, and he's trying to, I think, locate the bodies. And so I think he's like up over 100. But it was
wow.
In the here the other day.
Okay, yeah.
Man alive. Okay, you know what? Larry Dwayne Hall can't touch that.
True.
Well, but he'd be in good second place probably.
Yeah, I could push him for second, I guess.
Actually, that's just what they think he's part.
Henry Lee Lucas.
I remember Lucas.
Over 300, so I don't know. But
yeah, Henry Lee Lucas, man, he was kind of a madman.
Oh yeah, he beheaded his mother, and
so did Ed Kemper, though.
Yeah, he did too. You're right.
Yeah.
Right, and so yeah, these guys are still kind of, but I don't think with Lucas that they could prove it all. You know, I think he was able to, I think he was claiming some of these I didn't do, but who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to call and say that because I think the TV guy is just, I guess they did, like you said, they're waiting for his trial down there, and they really can't approach him right now. But the same clothes, come on.
The sketch,
really odd.
yeah.
And how you lined up his face the other night, and boy, that's right on with that sketch.
DB.
You're right on there, boy. I mean, that's, you got it. I mean, but anyway, I had just one other question for you guys, if you don't mind. This other case that's just come down the last week or so, the one up in Michigan where the woman was shooting out from her house at this remote cabin, and then she's been missing ever since, and they found her boots and her cell phone or something on the roof of the house.
What?
I haven't heard this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I do know about that case because I was looking it up when it happened. But I mean, the story that I heard was that I think it was her boyfriend or something like that was back where she lived at, but he knew that she was there. And what was it, like 2:30 or almost 3 in the morning? She called a friend and said she needed help. Now, what's weird about that is it was a fairly remote cabin, but after she had called her friend called law enforcement, and law enforcement was at that house 11 minutes after she had called her.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. Yeah, that did. And that really did stick with me because I thought had been somebody that knew she was there, somebody that would go up there late at night when nobody would know that they would be there. And the first person that stuck out to me was her boyfriend.
Mm.
Right. And they said that there were like 10 or 12 shots from inside the house going out of the house, but not one shot coming in. And she said something when she told her friend that she shot the guy in the face, but there was no blood outside, no anything. And she went out the back window, apparently went up on the roof, and left her shoes and then her boots, and I think her cell phone was up there. I know, it's so bizarre.
You know what? That's the next case I'm looking into right there, sir.
Michael, I think her last name was like with a Q, like Quintal or something. Q. I don't remember her first name.
You know what? I seen it on Fox News, and upon seeing it, I went and looked up an article on it, and I read the article. I looked up the area where the cabin was at, where she lived, and that was as far as I got because there wasn't really much more to really look into at that time. But since there's more information, I will definitely look into that case.
Yeah, I saw something on TV about it yesterday, I think. It's becoming like it's getting national coverage because of the bizarre aspect of how she's disappeared.
Yeah, that is weird.
She was up on the roof and then, just gone. And
do you know if did she use a shotgun?
No, I think she had a handgun. I think it was like a 9mm or something. She knew how to use a gun. She was like into guns, and she knew how to use one. But when she was calling her friend, she said she heard these noises outside, and then she started shooting through the windows, and said she hit one of them in the face. But when the cops came, there was like no shots inside. She said they were shooting into the house, but there was no evidence of that. And that there was no blood outside. There was nothing. And then
This could be one of two things. Because, I mean, if clearly she was, and it sounds to me as if she was telling her friend something that did not occur. Well, then why would she go outside and get on the roof, for one? If she had a handgun, why not stand right there, go into a room, turn the lights off, and wait? You're on the phone with your friend.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
But they said she might have had I think they said she was involved in a fight or something months before, and she might have had like some head injury or something. So maybe she was having a mental episode, but
sounds like it.
Like she was imagining all this stuff, and then, but they searched everywhere. They put on a big search around the house, into the woods and whatnot, but nothing. No track. There was some snow. I think there was some snow. Maybe not. Maybe there wasn't.
If there was snow, it would kind of help, because then they could have seen tracks of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. I think the last name was like Quinton or Quintal or something like that. If you look, I'm not here by my computer, but I might have to look that up. I find out what it is, I'll email it to you or something.
Okay, please do. But, probably as soon as this video is over, I'm going to just go look it back up again. It isn't going to take me long to find the case. Probably a couple quick keywords into Google, bam, there it is.
Yeah, you'd be good. That'd be a good one for you to sink your teeth into, because that's like, people are talking about, aliens took her off the roof, and,
Oh, here we go with aliens again, Incognito.
I know, like the Denise case. Good grief.
There was a thing that she was alien abducted, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Aliens don't park your car for you.
Exactly.
Right.
So nice of them.
So now all that's coming out, because although when I was in school, my father they'd been divorced, and she lived alone for a while, and she could have sworn she used to hear people on the roof, like that night, in the middle of the night, and she was by herself. And that's a scary thought, just to think like you're alone and there's someone on the, but why would you, I don't know. Unless she thought someone was like in the house, like in the attic or something, and went up on the roof to get out of the house. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. And again, though, she had a vehicle.
Yeah.
It would seem more likely that if there was somebody down there that she was trying to avoid, why would she get up on the roof, for one, when she had a vehicle? If she had a handgun, why leave the house? She's on the phone with her friend, and I don't know what happened to that phone call, but the article said that police arrived 11 minutes after she'd called her friend. And I thought, okay, that's fast.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why she didn't call 911 herself.
Yeah, I don't know. And that is a good question.
But it seems to be the case of the hour, in a way. But something to look. Although I thought someone said that one of the windows in her car was shot out, but they think it was from one of the shots she shot out of the house.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but apparently there were like no signs of other people outside at all, like no tire marks or footprints or anything.
Well, Michael, when he looks into it, he'll have it solved within 24 hours. I guarantee.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay, 48.
No, actually, I wouldn't even do that. But, You know, I mean, it makes me wonder, given the circumstances. I mean, if it's like, as you say, you know, why didn't she call law enforcement? Why did she call a friend and then her friend call law enforcement? Why would she go on the roof if she had a handgun and not call 911? I mean, did her boyfriend or whatever have like a life insurance policy? You know, something that they could have made some money on if she had stayed gone long enough, something like that. Because look, she's up there at a remote cabin. She knew it was a remote cabin. She wasn't fearful of that. But it sounds like it was kind of taken to an extreme for some reason. And for law enforcement to arrive that quick and find no identifying things of a suspect having been there, then it kind of gets a little confusing as to the whys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think her boyfriend was there with her, but he left like a day or two before this.
Yes, no, you're right. You're right. And I remember that's very true. He did go up there with her and had returned. And again, that's what kind of set into my mind. He knew she was there.
Oh, I heard this case. Why did he leave? Do we know yet why he left her there?
You know what? I think that there was something, and I forget what it related to at the house. I'd have to reread. Do you know, Jay or Richard?
I think I think they were like reconditioning the house, and he was taking something that they had pulled out of the house. He was bringing it down to where they lived, I think, like near Detroit, like shingles or tiles or something, and he was going to meet her down there. But I think he brought something. He took something out of the house to install in his place or something. I think.
Yeah, very interesting.
They were pulling up tiles, I think he said.
In fact, I mean, I like new cases because new cases, it's easier to find somebody on. Real old cases, yeah, man, we ain't even working with the right evidence. We can kind of piece the case together, but a person of interest, look, man, 40-some years ago, 33. Well, 33, I got lucky on that. But, in a lot of cases, there is no person to point to. It's like up there. Well, who would do that? I don't know. I mean, unless I could draw lines to somebody that she knew or life insurance or something along that line. But even at that, I wouldn't state it without knowing because, man, I could end up looking like a jackass, and I don't like that.
You're right. That's one thing I always think about too in all these cases. Look at who benefits from these people disappearing. The life insurance is always the first thing I would look at for money. You're right. Absolutely right. So maybe he, I don't know what happened to him afterwards, though, if he's been cooperating or not. I'm not sure. Yeah. I think the friend she called was the one who called 911 for her, I think.
Yeah, she did. And that's what the article had said, that after she had called her friend, 11 minutes later, law enforcement arrived, but she was already gone.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And think about that, man. She had to be up on the roof, had to got down from the roof, and leave without her car. And without signs of a suspect being there. I mean, what are you to make of that?
And this is the other thing. The whole house was completely locked up. So how could she get off the roof? Like, there was a 2 or 3 story house. I mean, it's like a pretty high house.
Oh, say that's more than a remote cabin.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it, and it's like a converted, little. It's not actually but it's pretty high. It's like 2 stories, 2.5 stories high. It's like higher than it is wide or something. It's a weird. But for her to jump from that,
how would she have got up there?
They said through a window in the back somehow. I don't know.
Man, that took some balls.
Yeah, you'd have to be like a really good, like aerial, gymnast or something. But
well,
I would think to jump from there, you'd probably break a leg
or worse. Yeah, Carolyn wanted to know what the calls were that was on her phone, and I'm sure that if her phone was up there, that law enforcement has probably already looked into that, I would think.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with her gun, but I don't know if they found it or not. I don't think so.
Very peculiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that is an interesting one.
Yeah, I will be looking into this. In fact, it might. You know what? I forget who it was. I was going to have one next week, and I totally spaced that out. I had told somebody I wanted them to be on the show, but I forgot who it was now. They're probably going to be upset with me if they're watching.
You're still on Tuesdays, though, right? At 5 Central Time?
Yeah, 5 Central, 6 Eastern.
Right. And then I think we talked about this last time. You're Eastern Time?
Yeah.
Or Central?
I'm Eastern. I'm like right to the line where it starts to go Eastern. Or I mean Central. I think that hits like right over here where it hits Illinois, then it goes Central. Probably about 60 miles west of me.
Yeah, I'm Central Time, so it would be
5.
Well, 4 my time and 5 your
No, it's 6 our time, 5 yours.
Oh, it's 5. Right, okay.
Yep.
And that's every Tuesday. You don't do Fridays anymore, right?
No, it's always Tuesday. Tuesday at 6. That's my show.
Yes. Okay. Well, listen, I'll let someone else call in maybe if they have any ideas.
Well, man, I appreciate you calling, Richard, man. Actually, a great telephone call.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I don't get many of them.
And that guy before me, I mean, what the hell was his problem?
You know what? He was probably drunked up, man.
Troll.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's just...
Or a mental case, and we do have those in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And Michigan, too, if all holds correct.
Yeah, and down here, too. They're everywhere. Yeah, so... All right. Well, Incognito, it was nice talking to you, too. And
You too.
got to do that again, Mike.
Yep. Anytime, man. You're welcome to call in. As long as I got a show, bam, there it is. It's nice hearing from you.
I will. I'll talk to you probably next week.
All right, man. You have a good evening.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, man. That was a pretty good phone call.
It's a great phone call.
Thank you very much, Richard.
Yeah.
That's why I have a live show, just to catch phone calls like that.
That was awesome. Thanks for
having great guests like Incognito Society.
Oh, again, thank you for having me.
Well, the bunny's blushing.
It is. This has been great. I thought, nobody
with me. I said, relax, just talk, man, just say stuff. Nobody knows, nobody cares, nobody, believe me, if anybody's going to be on here and be a jackass, it's going to be me every single time out. It ain't going to be the other person, I can tell you. In fact, if they start becoming a jackass, I'll outdo them.
Yeah.
Just so they look good,
Exactly. Love it. This has been great. I've been trying to watch chat, too. Man, I don't know how you do it.
It slowed down. It really did. But, when you got somebody on the, I see. Well, maybe I'd better scroll on. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I was way off. Okay, yeah, we do have some chat here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Great live Incognito. Thank you, says Lily. Let me throw that up. Bam. There you go. See? Great show. I told you.
Awesome.
Okay. So, let's see. You want to round this out at 9?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. We're running till 9. This is an extended program, 3 hours of live.
Cow. I didn't imagine that it would be 3 hours. That's crazy.
Yeah, like I say, when you start talking, man, time tends to go.
Yeah, it sure does.
Because, hell, even when what the hell am I doing? That's what I wanted. Let's add to stream. Kill that. Nope. Well, no. Okay. I'm just leaving that button alone. It's all good. Thank you. Let me blow us back up here. There we are. Okay. All right. So now back to the subject at hand. Where was it?
I don't know.
Okay, I didn't remember either. But I thought that we was talking about Denise Flum or something in that area of, and I forget where. But you know what? So be that. We can move this along to a separate case if you like. You can bring up a case I am in the unknown of.
Okay. Let's see. The other note I had, I think I went through all my notes, but did I say anything about the Lauren Spear case?
Yes, I think that you may have. I think
Okay.
that you may have mentioned that.
I went through all my notes, Michael. You got anything?
Well, not unless it's Laura Spears.
Okay.
I mean, my whole thing is on this now is that I can answer to 3 cases. I mean, I can give opinion on other cases, but really Delphi, Evansdale, and the Denise Flum case, those are the 3 that I particularly know, and that I could answer pretty much any question to.
Yeah. I loved how Richard was like, yeah, it's TB, and then talked about those coins. Man, it just, every single piece of this puzzle can be related back to TB.
Exactly.
I cannot find, yeah.
Every single piece that I have came across, I've never come across one where it's like, oh yeah, that can't be him. In every case, I can go, no, it is him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to wait. I'm not very patient for another year. So
you think it's bad for you?
I know.
God, you ought to be in my shoes. I've already put up with 1 year of it. If I knew I had 2, don't even know if I would open my mouth to begin with.
I hear you. Crime Sleuth called you boss. Hi, boss.
Oh, hey, Crime Sleuth.
And a lot of
No, I never called boss.
boss man.
The boss man. I ain't much of a boss. I don't like telling people what to do. As much as I don't like to be told what to do. If somebody tells me not to do something, I'll go do it purposely right in front of them. Right in front of them. Like, stop me. Tell me what to do one more time. Go ahead.
I wish you would. I think that everybody's still talking about the Michigan case that Richard brought up.
You know what that is? I mean, it was probably a month ago, I think, when that broke on Fox News, but it was like a little blurb. Then you had to click on it to go to the story. And I looked into that because at that time she was just missing. But, remote cabin, she'd called her friend. Cops arrived like 11 minutes later. There wasn't anybody there. And I'm all like, but the information that he added onto it, I'm like, yeah, I need to look back into that because now it sounds way more intriguing. Like something's got to be up there.
And that one of your subscribers, Tony Delphi, I think was her name.
Yeah.
She said that it ended up being that the police didn't show up for 30 minutes. So definitely have to look into that because there was a wrong address involved.
Okay.
Not sure what
transpired. That may be because I felt, man, it being a remote cabin and then like her calling law enforcement and then arriving 11 minutes later, I'm like, that's rather quick.
Yeah.
She had to be pretty local to law enforcement.
Exactly. And then to try to get up on the roof. And I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
It's going to take longer than 11 minutes at some point.
Well, think about it. Now, and I can understand in a way. Okay. She's in the house. She's claiming people are outside the house and she's shooting through windows or whatever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now what would you do if somebody's outside? You would lock your house up. Now, she went out through an upper window to the roof, but how in the hell did she get down with the house being locked?
Exactly. She'd have to jump.
She would have to, but there would be evidence of that.
Yeah. Unless there was some sort of...
If she had to jump from 3 stories, God knows she's breaking a leg.
If there was an antenna tower, maybe?
A what?
An antenna? Like an old standard antenna or something? She might have scaled up and down that.
You make a point. You make a point.
It's just an idea. I don't know.
But, but I mean, if you're up 3 stories, you're not going to jump because somebody would have to be up there. And believe me, through that time, law enforcement would have arrived.
Yeah.
But to make a jump, and then, I mean, you're minimally going to have a broken leg. I mean, how far could you go?
Exactly. I would have been laying there. Would have been able to move.
I would have been laying there probably dead.
Yeah. And then what kind of gun, we probably don't know right now, what kind of gun she was using. I mean, that shattered
a 9mm.
Holy cow. Wouldn't that shatter the whole glass if you shot through the window?
Yeah. Well, I think he said that the window to her Hold on.
Okay.
Anonymous. Guess what? I don't answer anonymous calls. They can bite my backside. Hang on a second. I gotta grab some juice.
Okay. Saw gargoyles playing hide and seek. My daughter told me scary to think you can function and not. I'm just reading random comments, so I might have to.
Yeah, random telephone calls. They're trolls.
Definitely. What's going on here?
Hey, what's happening? Everybody wants to know. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that in the chat, man. Sorry, everybody. If you was wondering what's going on, I'm trying to have a live show. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in and wondering what's going on.
Yeah, don't mind us. We're just having a show here.
Yeah, man. Tonight it's deep fried ice cream. In case anybody's wondering.
I was getting ready to ask, was it banana flavored? But it's deep fried ice cream.
No, almost grabbed the banana, but I had banana ready. I do like my ice cream, man.
No, I'm not a smoker, so I'm asking out of context here completely.
Yeah.
So don't think I'm stupid. But does your house smell like deep fried ice cream? Does your clothes smell like deep fried ice cream?
Nope.
Don't smell at all. Just the initial puff.
If, like, say as an example, I hit it.
Nice.
Now, anybody standing there that would, that would catch wind of that, they would smell it.
Okay.
But it dissipates. Hang on, went down the wrong way.
Yeah. I made you talk. I'm sorry. Tried to talk and smoke.
Anyway, that's the only time you can smell it. Once it dissipates, it's gone.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how that worked.
You know what? Woof is. Woof it. Woof is definitely. Damn. Now I can't talk. I think I blew a vocal cord out.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry.
Woof is in the bedroom currently. Probably sleeping. He hasn't been out here running amok, as he normally tends to do when I have a video. You know, of all times he wants to be in my lap, it's only if I'm doing a video. That's it. That's it. That's the only time he wants shit. But yeah, actually he's in there, probably under the blanket. Probably sleeping like a puppy bear.
So normally he's a camera hog, huh? He wants the
He
publicity.
loves the camera. He loves nothing more than being in a video. Wait till next year. It's going to be his 15th birthday, man. 15th, man.
Gosh.
15th.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he'll be over 100. He's already over 100.
You take good care of him to last that long. That's awesome.
Well, I go back, and that was probably in an area of 5 months ago. He got congestive heart real bad. And I mean, I thought he was dying. I don't want to turn it into something that, like, you know, but it came down like this. I'm sitting in the house, man, but it was his breathing. I mean, he couldn't breathe. He just couldn't, you know, and he couldn't sleep because he couldn't breathe. And he was just like constant big inhales, you know, and I mean, so he couldn't rest. He couldn't get oxygen. And I kind of narrowed it down that it was congestive heart. I got a hold of my brother because I knew that he had congestive heart going back. I forget what the medication is that he gave me, man, but I had to break it in half to make it for a dog size per milligram. Gave that to him, and I mean, it didn't go away like right away.
Right.
But I went to bed and I left him in here to sleep because, I mean, it killed me to hear him breathe like that.
Yeah.
And when I would leave, I knew that he was probably dying and I wasn't around. So, I mean, I was between, I mean, it was really a tough time. But that night, after I gave him the, man, I forget what the name of that is. And I think that CHF might be it's congestive heart. But whatever it was that I given him, He got better.
Thank
And
God.
at 4:00 in the morning, he went in there and whined on the bed. When I got up the next morning, he wasn't breathing like he was. It was still there, but not real bad. And the second day, it was gone.
Wow. Did
And
you
I
give him
was like,
Lasix?
yes.
You gave him like some kind of water pill or something?
Well, and now what I did was I went from that medication, then I started giving him like, what is it, Lasix?
Okay. Yeah.
And it helped in the same way. So I give him a half pill of that every day with his food.
Nice.
But it keeps it away, so he can continue to be with me.
That's good.
And that's all that I want is my puppy to be around.
Exactly. Aw.
Yeah, I know. It's weird that I go by Katt and, if I had my preferences, man, I would have went by dog. I would have. But, you don't pick your nickname. You just have to accept what people give you.
Exactly.
Actually, you know what? Do you know why I got the name Katt?
Well, I was going to ask you. I remember there was a story, but I don't remember what it was.
I go back to the year 2001. It actually might have been 2000. I had joined a website online, but it was the first time I had ever joined a website, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I needed a name. I had just played the beatnik caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland. So I put on it as my username, Beatnik Katt. All right. Well, then everybody I started meeting was on my website. They knew me as Beatnik Katt. And a dude called me Katt. And I looked at him and I'm like, what? Katt. I'm like, why are you calling me Katt? Beatnik Katt. I'm like, oh, God, right, God. And that's how it picked up because it was from him to the next person and then Katt kind of became my name. That's what everybody calls me. Unless it's family or a real old friend, people call me Katt. And again, would I have chosen that name? No, I would not have. I would have been Michael Dog. Michael Terrier. Michael J. Terrier would have been my name.
So technically it's after a caterpillar.
Yep, exactly.
Gotcha.
That's why a Katt.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Which actually caterpillar CAT, but it was actually I did that with the KATT.
Nice. Nice little trick there.
Well, when YouTube took my real name, I had to go by the nick. There it is. They took my life from me.
I can't believe they shut down your channel. That's ugh.
Yeah, you know what? I have some regrets because I had some real good viral videos on my other channel and they're all gone. That was like 760 videos wiped off the earth.
Gosh.
In 2 weeks' time, my channel was great. And within 2 weeks, they're like, bam, bam, bye. And I'm like, and you know what? The thing was, and I can tell you why they did that, because if you looked into the Delphi murders, one name was popping up, me.
Mm-hmm.
On Google, on YouTube, it was me. I took the first 2 pages. They're like, yeah, no, wrong. You ain't having that kind of publicity, pal.
So all those videos that were already viral, you would still be profiting from that because now with all the subscribers to this channel.
But my old channel changed once the Delphi murders happened.
Yeah.
I took it off of what I was doing and went solely to the Delphi case. And I upset a lot of my old subscribers for that reason because I was talking about other events. But at the same time, I did lose a lot of stuff on like the viral videos. There was a couple I had saved back, but anyway. Yeah, they took it. All right, anyway.
I think somebody's trying to call.
What?
Is the ringer on? I think somebody's been trying to call.
Shit. Sorry. No, it was off. Please call again.
Marlene, I think.
Marlene, please give a call back. Here's the number. Right down here. We have a special guest who is Incognito Society that wants to hear from you at this number.
Yes. And A Tintos, she put the Adrian Quintal of Warren, Michigan is where that story's from.
Okay. Got it. Warren, Michigan, exactly. Yeah, I do recall that. Because I thought Warren, Michigan, holy crap, where in the hell's that?
Yeah.
I didn't even know where Montrose was. I'm not that familiar. I got a cabin up on the UP in Michigan.
No way.
Yeah, way. Ain't been there in 30 years.
Oh my gosh. A family thing?
Yeah, it was actually my grandfather's. It was a hunting cabin. It's got an old stove in it, but it doesn't have plumbing. You got an outhouse. It was just basically there for hunting. It's an acre and a half with a little cabin. The cabin is demolished. It fell in years ago, but the property's mine.
Oh.
Yeah.
My friend Anne was from Traverse City. And she passed away last year. I've been to Michigan a couple times, but never to the... Now, Traverse City isn't in the UP, right? That's on up. Yeah.
No, I think Traverse City's on the lower.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, when you cross the bridge, you hit St. Ignace. That's the first city. It's right on the north side.
Okay.
And we lived about 15 miles north of there in the deep woods. Well, we didn't live there, but we went up there 3 times a year. We go up in the winter to snowmobile. Good times.
Mm.
That's the times.
Good memories.
Yeah.
I think Marlene gave up.
See, man, I should have had the ringer on. She got upset and she threw it away, man. She's like, yeah, he don't care. He don't give a damn.
This has been fun.
Well, yes, but it has to be a little boring. And I really wanted you to, speak more.
I'm sorry.
This is your show, and I wanted you to be the one that was doing the... Oh, there's a telephone call for you, most likely. Okay. Hello. Hey, how you doing? Yes. Well, take your time. You're on the air though.
Let's see. It was about that girl that went out on the roof.
Uh-huh.
Her husband left her there, and he could have just finished up closing that cannon down. And then went back with her too, right?
I can barely make out what you're saying. It's like it's coming through a little too loud. Say that again.
Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Oh, where that girl jumped out on the roof.
Uh-huh.
Her husband left her there and went for days when he could have stayed there and closed up that cabin. Right?
I don't know. I really haven't looked that far into it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what my question was.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. What about the Incognito? What does she think?
I haven't looked into the case either, but I thought there was a comment about how her husband or boyfriend or whatever left like a day before this happened. So I don't think he left her there. I mean, I don't know. Without the idea of coming back. But I'll have to look into the case.
And then he came back 3 days after the crime or whatever it was too. So, okay, so we'll talk about it again, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what? It might be a topic next week that I'll bring up. If you want to call in then.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Thank
You have
you.
a good evening.
You too. Bye.
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 Another good call.
Definitely. I'm sorry I don't know more about the case. I don't know anything about it, actually.
Well, you're kind of where I am because I think we're all clued in about the same. But you know what? If you and I start looking into it and compare notes, we'll come up with the answer.
Absolutely. I know you'll have it laid out, mapped out. Oh, here we go.
Hello. Go ahead.
Hold on just a second. I want to get a double feed.
Okay.
I'm listening to this at the same time. Can she hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Incognito.
Hi.
My question is, what is your thought of Thomas Bruce being the potential Delphi killer?
I certainly think that he is our best suspect at this time.
Well, when I did a little research and they had an update, there was an article that came out that says he's, in fact, not the killer. And I don't mind sending it to Mike.
Please do. Do you need my email address?
I do have the article. Do you have an email?
Yeah, hold on a second, and let me pull that up for you.
Wait, no,
Okay,
there
it's
is
on
a
the screen
delay
right
on
now.
my computer.
Can you see it?
There's a little delay.
No, I mean like on the screen, it should have my email address.
No, like I said, there's a little delay on the top chat on my side.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah.
If you send it to there, if you send me the link, I will look it over.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go theoretical. If Tom Bruce was not the killer, is there anybody else that you have in mind that you have thought about but you haven't told anybody on your podcast?
Me?
Yes.
No. Because
me.
the thing is everybody else doesn't fit the criteria. I mean, in every case, normally within 5 to 10 minutes, I can say, nope, it cannot be them. Now, Thomas Bruce is the only person that I've found that does fit all the criteria. And I don't know what article. If it was a news article, like from CBS, something like that, I would be very interested in reading it. But if it's just somebody's opinion, yeah, I don't care about anybody's opinion.
Oh, no, it's not opinion. This is actual a news article.
Okay. Yeah, please send it to me. I'll read it. Because I want to know what evidence they're pointing to that says he cannot be the killer. Because I've looked over all the evidence and I'm stating quite the contrary.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying it doesn't hurt to have an open mind.
No. And you know, a lot of people have said that to me. Like, well, you got to have an open mind. Well, I do have an open mind. You know, I mean, I would gladly drop TB in a second if somebody else fit a better position. But at this time, I have not seen that. I haven't seen anybody that fits that.
Well, since Minivan Trapper has been able to talk to Riley and got an interview, would you do the same thing?
I've already talked to Riley twice.
No, I'm talking about like a live interview where your podcast people can actually hear it.
You what? Talk to him live?
Yes, talk to him live. Ask him, is Thomas Bruce a person of interest in this case?
But I already did. I did ask him that.
How long ago?
It's in my videos, and I think it's going back to last springtime. If you go to my channel, but then click on videos and scroll back down, because it has a picture of him on the thumbnail and my interview with him. Now, I asked him about Thomas Bruce, but the thing is this like, well, man, you know what? We got like 46,000 persons of interest. He's no different than anybody, because law enforcement ain't going to tell you what they know. You know, it's just that easy. I could ask any law enforcement officer, and they're like, yeah, he might be a person of interest, but so is everybody else. Everybody's going to be a person of interest till somebody's in jail. Right. You know, they're not going to tell you that he is a person of interest, or, yeah, we're really looking strong into it, because that defeats what it is that they're trying to do. They're trying to keep that secret because they really don't want anybody to know.
Do you plan to go to his trial in October?
Yes.
2020?
Yes, I will be there.
Did you ever cover any other cases besides Delphi?
The Denise Flum, and of course Evansdale, the same as Delphi, but that's really it. That's the only ones that I've taken the time to really look into.
Would you ever look into the Burger Chef killings?
If I knew about it, maybe.
I suggest that. Other than that, thank you for taking my call.
Hey, send me some information.
Sure, I will.
Send me the links to that and the Burger Chef killings, if you would.
I will. And Incognito, I definitely enjoyed your shows that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very much.
All right. Good talking with you.
All right. You have a
Bye.
good evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, very cool. See, 3 good callers. 3.
Yeah, that was nice.
Well, I do want to know what the information that would point to him like not being the suspect, because I would need to look that over. I think that I've covered every base, and I have come up quite contrary to that, because there has not been one scrap of evidence that does not fit everything, as far as I am concerned. Now, I mean, I can say that I would put my left arm on it, and I still would.
Yeah.
I would place my left arm on it right now. He is the committer of both of those murders.
Yeah, I'd be interested in the article that he has, if it's actually law enforcement saying that, or if it's just somebody that in the news that wrote something, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get it, I will forward it to you, so you're looking at the same.
There were a couple comments that they thought they knew who that was. You might want to scroll back up. I don't know if that was a troll or not. So you just never know.
Well, like I said, you know what? I had somebody, and I think it was 2 weeks ago, was on here, and they was saying that no, it's not him. No, man. There was articles saying that it ain't. I said, well, here's my email. I know your email address. Send it to me. I will. Never heard from him. Never got no link to no article, man. You know, because anything that I put in there, man, it never pops up that somebody said he went. If it does happen that way, it usually, and I've had people send me links to like Facebook sleuths where somebody's like, it can't be him. And I'm all like, oh, man, what kind of shit is this?
Exactly.
What shit is this, man? Don't send me that garbage, man. Do it one more time. Do it
Exactly.
one more, man. I'll ban you in no uncertain terms. Bam, you're gone.
The Facebook groups, I'm not even a part of them.
No.
I can't.
Now, I had a girl that's a friend of mine on Facebook, and she had sent me a request to join her forum. And I sent her back, very respectful in it. But I told her, I said, look, I don't read through those. I don't belong there. I will get in an argument immediately. I just don't go there, man. I said, look, man, you're a good friend and everything, man. And I respect the offer, but no.
Yeah.
Because I don't go there. I don't read them. I don't even go to WKAT chat, man. I give that to somebody else, man. Let them run it.
Yeah. It's better that way. And that's why I remain incognito, because I can't handle it.
You look good as a bunny.
Well, I appreciate that.
I think your other avatar needs to come off the Xanax a bit.
I know. The eyes are crazy.
Yeah.
Go back to the bunny.
I'm like, I know she ain't doing that. Or is she? I better look further into this. They're doing some sleuthing.
Exactly.
All right, man. Well, it's after 9. If you want to wrap it up, it's on you.
Okay, well, let's do that. I should probably try to tuck my kids into bed here. So thank you, everyone.
Hold on. Let me give you the floor. There you go. It's just you, Bunny.
All right.
Wait. Hold on. Now, there you go. Now you got it.
You're so funny. Thank you so much for the ones that called in, the comments, everything. Thanks for being patient with me. I appreciate you all. Donate to Michael's channel. I appreciate him for having me live. It's my very first live.
No problem.
And I look forward to talking with you guys in chat, because I'll be watching Michael as usual. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for being here in Incognito Society. And we definitely had a good time, man. I enjoyed it. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. I am Allie here. I appreciate everybody viewing this video. I want everybody to have a fantastic week and join me back here next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. I will catch you then. Peace, y'all.